wrapped around your soul with no control. You can't breathe when you're drowning underwater. There's so much water. I'll run, I'll hide. Darkness always clouds my mind. When I look behind, it's moving closer every time. I can't pretend that I have a strong defense. This darkness, my old friend, you get me till at the end. At the end. Can you feel it wrapped around your soul with no control? You can't breathe when you're drowning underwater. There's so much water. I can't pretend that I have a strong defense. This darkness, my old friend, you get me till at the
What's going on, folks? Welcome to Late Night THFC Rants. My name is Will Stewart. And tomorrow we play the Wolves. Wayne Bonner's already in with a super chat. Thank you very much. We appreciate that. Your super chats are welcome, and this is your daily moaning. You are more than welcome to it. Says, how's everyone? Looking forward to the game, as am I. Let's see who's in the chat here. Lily White Lane, what's going on, my friend? Hope you are doing well. It's been a long time since I've seen you or talked to you. Cody Mack is asking where the hair is. It's right here. Brian Will. That was great. I love that. I bought it for a new character. And I was hoping that I hadn't come up with a name. And THFC Cares gave me the name Brian Will. And so I think that's going to be the character that we do. But yeah, how are you guys doing? Let's let the people on Twitter know that we are going live. Just also too want to let you guys know, got some Brian Wheel hair in my microphone here. Hope everyone is doing good tonight. I'm gonna throw the link in the chat. You guys are welcome to jump on. Let's see if that worked, man. I got a new toy and I'm just trying to see if it works here. It did work. That's cool. Pushed a button and tweeted. So Sean, man, what's going on? Long time no see, buddy. I hope you're doing well. Shane Black, what's going on? Internesh, thoughts on he looks okay. And he reminds me, he plays a little like the way that my son plays, and it's kind of cool. But anyway, how you guys doing? Just run through here the key things for the thing. If you would like to become a member, you can go ahead and click the link there and become a member. Not sure if that one worked or not, but because I'm not seeing it pop through. Let's see. It did. Ooh, no, it didn't. Didn't work. Maybe I gotta step it there. Nope, that didn't work either. We'll have to figure that one out. Reload says, Will, you were saying what I would when talking to that young lady. Her name is Shane, I think. On Bob's. Well, thank you, Reload. I don't necessarily. And if you guys are wondering why I'm so low in here, I need to maybe adjust my camera. I was on that other stream for so long that my butt hurt, so I had to change chairs, and this one doesn't go as high. So, forgive the room. No, I mean everyone's entitled to their opinion, and I just, I just disagree. That's all. For me, it's a matter of, if we're going to, I'm just disappointed in or not disappointed, but I'm tired of the positivity that's not based in any reality. And we haven't seen any of that from the club, so that's why it aggravated me a little bit. But that's okay. It's all good. So anyway, I threw the link in the chat. If anybody wants to jump on the show, you are more than welcome to do so. Mr. Cody Mack is in here, but his devices are not connected yet. What's up, fella? How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. I had to go back to the old chair that sits too low. And the other chair, I'm still getting used to it. It's like a saddle stool.
You gotta break. You gotta break in the new digs, man.
Yeah, it's
take some time. Just give it some time, man.
Killing my bum, man. It's good on the back. Like my back has felt a lot better since I started using that chair. But
it's just like adjusting to the Premier League when you come from Ligue 1.
Yeah, I don't. Liga, you never get adjusted to the Premier League when you come from Liga, to be honest with you. But how you doing, man?
I'm good. What did I miss? I was decided to do a movie night. We watched Star Trek tonight, so I missed the stream over on Bobspur. But I was hearing on Twitter that there was some fire.
Oh no, I we were having a discussion, and someone asked me not to interrupt them, so I let them speak. Then it was my turn to speak, and they interrupted me, and I asked them the same thing.
Shit!
And they had a problem with me asking them not to interrupt me. So I'm sure you can imagine how that went.
Well, now I know I have to rewatch it anyway.
Yeah, at least that section of it.
Oh fuck.
Yeah. I don't mind. Like if someone says, "Hey, let me finish," you know me, I'll back off, right? I'll let them finish.
You should have gone full Hyun-Min Son. Just been like, "Do you know who I am?"
No, I don't have that type of. People may think I'm arrogant, but I don't have that type of arrogance. But no, if someone asks me to let them finish, I'll let them finish. Only problem is you better let me finish when it's my turn to talk as well. And then, yeah, I mean, it really wasn't that big of a deal. It was maybe like 10 minutes.
It never is.
Yeah.
Never is. People
like the fire.
People, you know what? It's all love, man. It's all love. Like, people have disagreements.
Well, and at the end of the stream too, I said for people who, because this was the first time I had been in a stream with this particular individual. And I said, for people who have been on, this is the first time on the stream with me. This isn't personal. It's simply, passion for the club. I don't hold any beefs. But, it's just, look, Cody, for me, you know me probably, well, as good. I mean, we've never met in person, but you know me as good as anybody else that's out here. And I get tired of, but yeah, they're going to be good. In 2 or 3 years, they're going to come good. When there's been no evidence of anybody coming good that we bought over the last 10 years. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So for me, I mean, that's really what it was about, right? I mean, that was why I was triggered, right? The other person went on, about that. And then when it was my turn, I said my piece. And it's like Brian Hill. I have no problem with Brian Hill as a footballer or a person. I have not seen enough to declare, that he's the second coming of Lionel Messi. I just haven't seen it. I mean, look, even the match on Thursday, people were raving about him. The dude had 24 touches, man. 24 touches. I mean, for me, it's still like you don't see me coming out and say, after 24 touches, this person's the next Messi when he hasn't shown that he is. So
it's Tottenham, man. It's Tottenham.
It's Tottenham.
It's Tottenham. The Don Paratici is cooking. Brian Hill, next Messi. Cutie Romero, a wall at the back. You know, it's Tottenham, man. You're not allowed to sit back and like wait to formulate your opinion. You got to get on the bandwagon or get off. Oh man, I saw someone write an honest thread of their opinion that Nuno is a racist today on Twitter.
Where? How did they come apart that he's black himself? For people that don't know that, Nuno Espirito Santo is black. He's like half black.
I'll have to see if I can find it. Honestly, it's
For crying out loud, man. Oh. I'm gonna have to zoom in like you because the amount of space above my head is annoying me.
Oh, this guy's got an anti-Nuno agenda as well.
Yeah, and I'm just, I am not about. I'm just not about. I don't know. I just don't like people who make assertions without. Right? I'm not saying you have to have empirical proof, right? But if you have a good reason, other than just because I said so, therefore believe me. Sorry, I'm not going to. That's not my personality. I can't do it. Can't do it. Can't do it.
Yeah, man. I mean, I haven't really like had anyone come out and call me like a racist for criticizing a black player, but there's been, it's like you post something like critical about Ndombele, especially Ndombele, and it's like people just jump right to the racism card, you know.
I mean,
and
do they not know that Nuno Espirito Santo is half black himself?
I mean, that would be. Yeah, honestly, I'm trying to look up the thread. I don't even know if it's worth revisiting. I think it was mostly for attention.
Yeah, no, it's just sad, I think.
Exposing Nuno Espirito Santo, a thread. Firstly, I will address the topic. Simply put, Nuno is racist, and in this thread I will show you why. Let's look at how Nuno has treated his crop of black players at THFC. Davinson Sanchez transfer listed, Japhet Tanganga loan listed, Serge Aurier transfer listed, Sissoko transfer listed, Kiona Tete on loan, Tanguy Ndombele forced out of club. Bergwijn was the only one to survive the massacre of our black excellence. I mean, I could go on, but it's really it's not.
Somebody's calling you out, dude. Like, I'll see you in Wolverhampton later, Cody.
It's a pretty far drive for me. I don't know if I'm gonna make it. I'd have to leave pretty soon.
Yeah. And then Aaron Dev knows what you're talking about. He said, "Don't find it, please. It was an Irish guy that did it. I'm so embarrassed."
Yeah, it's not worth revisiting. Let's just say it was ridiculous and leave it at that.
Right, calling somebody fat, that's not a racial remark, right? Look, it's a fat shaming remark maybe, but it's not racist. Sorry, it's just not. Martin Sheridan says he says, does Cody have a troll?
No,
I
don't think so. I mean, maybe.
Does that mean with the popularity you're getting on Twitter now? I'm sure you actually got a few. Since I put you in my TK1 notifications list, you've tend to fill it up with going back and forth with people on Twitter. So,
well, I like to respect people's opinion. by engaging with them.
I find it a little ironic.
Whatever could you mean?
I don't know. Don't engage with them. Don't engage.
Yeah, but that's a little different.
Yeah, it's you.
No,
I'm kidding.
no.
Do as I say, not as I do, Cody Mack. Do as I say.
Totally different.
Do as I say. But what about the game tomorrow? I think Brian Daigle's going to be on here a little bit later. Bob Spurs said he would jump on, but he probably won't. Anybody else who wants? Oh, I forgot to pin it to the chat. That's probably why nobody's seeing it, because it's way up there. There it is. I've pinned it up to the top of the chat. You can see it now in a little blue dimoflopper at the top of the screen. If you want to jump on and join the show, have your say troll Cody or troll myself, whichever one you want to do is totally cool. But let's see if I can do this. Mari's in here. If you want to become a channel member, I have put the link in the chat. Go ahead and click that link right there, and you guys can be able to help support the channel by becoming a channel member. What's up, Mr. Mari?
What's up, my brother?
We need to get you a light, man.
Yeah. I'm doing good.
A little bit of an echo. You got the other YouTube video out in the background, maybe after clicking the link.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me maybe. Let me
just close out that window, man, and you'll be fine.
Where is it? I mean,
Are you on your phone or?
Okay, I'm out. All
right, good. You're good now.
Oh man, sorry, that's embarrassing. I'm having technical difficulties.
It's still not out. You still got it going on. Also, while Mari's figuring that out, if you also want to help the channel, you can either become a member or you can become a Patreon. The link for that is also here in the chat. I'm supposed to have buttons that just send this all stuff out on its own. Also, too, if you want to get yourself some sweet merch, I will be updating that merch site. And putting some new stuff. We'll have some BJ stuff, some Will stuff, maybe some Granddad stuff, maybe some Brian Wheel. I'm afraid to do the Brian Wheel one.
What's that comment about?
Loaning all the players, racist because he gets rid of them, not loaning them, racist holding them hostage. Oh, they're talking about Nuno being racist.
There's some donkey put a thread on Twitter today attempting to discredit Nuno and disparage him as being a racist because of how
he's black.
Yeah, I know, that's what I said.
What?
That's what I said.
Yeah, I'm not gonna even touch on that one. Yeah, okay.
I guess he's not dark enough to be considered black by some people's standards, so that's a horrible thing to say, but
you get that sometimes. The light-skinned brothers, they're like, "Oh, you're not black enough." I mean, it's a taboo conversation within the black community, but if you're, say, Republican, you're not black enough, or if you're, I don't know. I throw that as an example. There's many examples where I guess within the black community they will say, "Hey, you're not black enough," or I mean, if you make a certain amount of money, I mean, it's all ridiculous. It's just, I don't know. People are always looking to divide people. So
yeah, it's pretty silly.
Yeah,
pretty silly. But let's get into now that we're here on this show. I'd like to throw a little bit more emphasis on this one. not just because you're here, Mari, but even before you joined. The Juventus link between Ndombele and it's McKinney, not McKenzie.
Yeah, I heard a lot of Mackenzie today.
Close but no cigar.
Mackenzie.
I would do
And,
this. I would do this.
Yeah, in a heartbeat.
Yeah, I would. I would.
Well-
I mean, like, I can understand that there's a lot of people out there who would say that Weston McKennie is not worth what Tanguy and Ndombele is worth, so a straight swap doesn't make much sense. But what is Ndombele worth to us at this point, given what he's done over the last 2 years? McKennie is on £40,000 a week, and Ndombele is on 5 times that. So if you were going to do a straight swap and the contract terms were going to remain the same, it would save us money in the long run. And Weston McKennie,
over £34 million.
Weston McKennie would be able to play for Tottenham. Let's be clear.
That's the point.
Right now, Tanguy Ndombele does not play for Tottenham. Okay, he hasn't stepped foot on the pitch for us since Jose got sacked. I don't know for sure, and all we can really do is speculate about what is going on between him and Nuno, or previously between him and Levy, or Ryan Mason, or whatever. You know, I mean, the most popular explanation is that he's not match fit, and that he came back to camp and he wasn't match fit and not close to it. We cannot hold on to players like this, and especially for the reason that, you know, we can't get a little bit of cash. You know, we're so bad at cutting our losses. What happens is we end up holding on to players because, you know, we can't get rid of what we think they're worth, and then they continue to become more and more devalued as players and assets, and then we're stuck with them because we've given them these huge deals, like the likes of Sissoko and even like Dele Alli. It's just it's a vicious cycle once it's begun. And I mean, the player is asked to leave, and it's not like you can't really compare it to like a Harry Kane situation where Harry Kane brings tangible value to the squad. We know what Harry Kane brings, right? Golden Boot winner, playmaker of the year. Probably he should have been PFA player of the year as well. I love the idea of Tanguy Ndombele. I love the concept of him being an important player for Spurs. He brings with him a unique skill set that almost no other player in world football can bring when he brings it, but he just doesn't bring it, and he can't bring it for 90 minutes when he does bring it.
Yeah.
So it's, even if he goes off to Juventus or France and has a blinder of a career, I would be so happy for him if he's just found a spot where he could be successful. I don't see it happening at Spurs. There's been nothing to suggest that he's going to like somehow suddenly get back on track. He's been a very poor buy, and I don't think anybody really could have like seen it going this poorly. It's been rumored that his issues with application and attitude were pre-existing, but at the same time, there was a lineup for this guy when he left France. It was considered a coup at the time. So, you know what? Mistakes happen, but let's not compound the mistake. You know, if we can get his wages off the books, and we can get a player who is a serviceable player who can be potentially in our starting 11, yeah, that's a win-win for me. I don't care if we don't get a fee as well as a player. If in the, I mean,
technically we are getting a fee, right? We're getting £34 million.
Yeah, I know, but there's not. I don't mean like an upfront. You know what I mean? Like,
well, I mean, most likely we wouldn't get it up front anyway, right?
Yeah,
most transfer fees are spread out over 3 or 4 years anyway, right? So there's really no difference, right? And for me, like, yeah, Weston McKennie does not have the skill that Tanguy Ndombele has, right? That's obvious. I'm not saying that, but he has like twice the mentality and 2 times the passion as well. And it's, for me, he's going to come in, especially even if you upped him up to 65 million pounds or 65,000 pounds a week.
That's still a third of the price.
That's still a third of the price. You're still talking 135,000 pounds a week difference over 52 weeks. That's 30. That's like 8 million a season.
Well,
I'm not understanding. Sorry, Mari. I'm not understanding why Weston McKennie is being offered to us at this point, because he just signed a new deal. He just signed a new deal in March.
Yeah, he got bought. He was on loan, and they completed the loan. And then what happened is that they signed another midfielder. And so he may not be coming into the plans of Allegri next season, right? Because you also know there's a new manager coming in. Yeah. So if that's the case, if he's not going to get a lot of playing time, I would rather him come to us. Look, even for his own benefit, as a supporter of the U.S. men's national team, I don't want to see him in Juventus sitting on the bench week in, week out, and maybe getting 10 appearances over the 38 games this season.
And actually, Locatelli's on loan with a purchase to buy with Juventus. And of course, we've seen Locatelli at the Euros, and he's had a good year. I was gonna say, from the chat, I did a lot of thinking. I took a lot of the emotions out, because there's part of the fan base thinking, man, if we do a straight swap, man, it looks like we're getting cut out of this deal. Looks like we're losing out on this deal in regards of, we look at the money of what Tanguy is supposed to be valued in comparison to McKennie. And so when I thought about it, I was like, you know what? I want this guy so much out of the club that, doing a switch, change my mind, doing a straight swap for McKennie, you know what? Let's do it, because he's not playing. Number one, Nuno refuses to play him, and I give Nuno all the credit in the world. Nuno's like, hey, if you don't want to be here, I'm not going to play you. It's a marriage that should have happened, which I scratched my head. I was saying on Bob's show that it's weird, because from day one he's never really been into Spurs. So why sign for Spurs in the first place? So it's, you take your loss. We'll take an L in regards to how much we spent. Bring McKennie in, or if you can get anybody else in. I still kind of like Oriar, because he scores goals from the midfield. He's very creative. But the question is, McKennie swap for Dembele. Yeah, I'm convinced. Yeah, let's do it.
The thing is too, like, what an absolute, like, sage, wise man truth bomb Nuno dropped in the press today, I think, when saying that it is not my job to convince players to want to play for Tottenham. It's my job to prepare players to play for Tottenham. And it couldn't be. The thing is, like, why are we so? I don't understand this. Like, I can get, like, if you're Harry Kane and you're like, I want to win trophies and we're not going to win trophies here. Yeah, whatever. All right. But, like, what goes through the mind of a professional athlete getting paid, like, crazy amounts of money to play football at, like, one of the biggest clubs in Europe, with the best stadium in Europe, the best training grounds in Europe, probably feeding them the finest food in Europe? Like,
I'll be honest, Cody, I don't think it's a Spurs thing, mate. I think it's an Ndombele thing, because from what I understand, he's been like that before.
Yeah,
like he has trouble being professional in a professional sport. You know what I mean? Like, it's just the way he is. I really don't think that's a Tottenham issue. And for me, like, we paid up for potential, and unfortunately, you can have all the skill in the world. If you don't have the will to match it, it's not enough.
No,
we need to cut our losses, get rid of him. I don't know a lot about McKennie, so I couldn't tell you whether he's good, bad, or indifferent. But if they think he can improve our current squad /team, I'd say do it. Because at the moment, Ndombele isn't doing anything for anyone where he is. It's just dead money on the wage bill.
Imagine a 22-year-old Jeremy Højbjerg, but more athletic.
What could possibly have happened with Ndombele that makes him
We
so?
don't need that kind of player.
The money he got.
I just so badly just want to understand. I want there to be like a valid reason. Like, has he moved to England and experienced some form of abuse that's made him want to leave? I had no idea.
Like in France, he was like that in France.
He was playing.
Go on.
No, he was playing the third. His testimony is he was playing in the third league of French football, basically almost to a point of quitting football. Bagging groceries. Nothing wrong with bagging groceries, but it was to that point. And then somewhere, somehow, I guess someone taught him. He got motivated to the point that you saw him at Lyon. He got to that point, and then we finally paid him that money. Like other athletes, when they get the money, they forgot where they came from. They lost that passion. They lost that drive, and that's what happened to him, because he was motivated to go up the ranks from the third ranks to the first. But I'm strongly thinking he got the money, he got paid, got homesick, and the rest is history. And it's just so discouraging, and it's just it happens to some athletes. They get the money and they just settle. And we talked about this in the chat, that in other sports, there's kind of like a performance to pay to play type of deal. Can we honestly say that is he worth that 200 mil per year contract? No, he has not. He can't play 90 minutes. He plays 64, an average of 64 minutes. He's got his money. There's no incentive for him to play stronger. He's already got his money, and that happens to some players.
But he was like that with the other teams. He had one season where he was semi-fit, and we bought him on the strength of that. Up until that point, I think for every other club he's played for, they've all said he's had fitness issues. Honestly, I don't think it's money. I just think it's him. Like, you've all heard of Ian Wright, yeah?
Yeah. Arsenal.
He was playing Sunday League football. Then he got picked. Do you know what I mean? He's got a very similar story. But he had the will and the talent. And Ndombele just doesn't have the will. Like, it's just, and don't get me wrong, it is an absolute travesty as a football fan to see that kind of talent be wasted.
100%.
It's a travesty. But at the end of the day, we ain't running a charity, man. Get him off the books. Forget it. He's done out here. Like, because what good's he doing us sitting there doing naff all, getting paid 200 grand a week? Like, imagine the kind of player you could be paying that money to. So
yeah, you could be paying it to Weston McKennie. Like, and then I know you said we don't really need that type of player, but we do, right? Who backs up Højbjerg this season?
Skip.
Okay, then who plays alongside Højbjerg this season?
Oh, you mean if one of them two get injured? You are right indeed, because we've got thin pickings if either of them
Harry Winks is going to come in?
Yeah, no, you're right.
Sissoko is going to come in?
Yeah, all right. You got a point. Maybe he'd be an ideal player to bring in then. Because also you'd be able to give one of them a rest.
Exactly, because he's like an 8-6, and he's a goal-scoring 8-6. Like, he averages at least 5 or 6 attacking returns a season. Regardless of what league he's in, whether you go back and look at his stats in the Bundesliga or even in Juventus, and the amount of heart, like, he's not a passenger player. He's going to be the guy that's celebrating up in people's places. Like, why? If you ever watched him in the Serie A, when Ronaldo scores, who's the first person to jump on Ronaldo's back? Weston McKennie. You know what I mean? Like,
in a shift, yeah,
100%. He'll give it all. Like. In that match against Mexico for the United States, he won that match for the United States. Christian Pulisic, yeah, he scored the penalty and all that stuff that ended up putting it over the top. But Christian Pulisic, that match was a passenger. Weston McKennie, with his grit, fire, and determination, I think he assisted 2 of the 3 goals in that match himself playing as a number 8.
Then
So
bring him in, man. Do it. Get it done.
I'm telling you, the
Fuck
dude
it.
is fire.
Is this a serious offer, or is this just paper bullshit?
Apparently, it's Juventus have offered us McKennie.
Then honestly, how many managers do we need to not play this guy to cut your losses, man?
Well, because I mean, like for the notices that I've had here, let's see. Go to Hotspur. I don't know if Hotspur related is the one that had anything on it, but there was one offer that said Juventus has offered Weston McKennie in a swap deal for Tanguy Ndombele, and then the other one says that Juventus is willing to sell Weston McKennie to Tottenham Hotspur. So either if we don't give him Ndombele, I have a feeling that Weston McKennie, he's only been going up and up. He's only 22 years old, right? Mm-hmm. And he spent at least 2 or 3 years. You know, he's one of those U.S. guys who went to Germany at the age of like 16, right?
He got a good grounding in football.
Yeah. Came up through the developmental academy in the United States, went to Germany, then went to Juventus, played in the Champions League, scored goals in the Champions League, winning goals that kept them in the Champions longer than they should have had because they had a poor performance in the Champions League this season. If you're paying him, just getting him out of the wages, even if he's as big of a flop on the field as Ndombele is, the fact that you just gained £8 or £9 million a year is a bonus.
It's honestly, if you look at it that way, if you're Levy, whatever money he loses, he'll make back in 2 years in not paying the dude's wages.
100%.
So it's a win-win. I'll tell you another player I really like. I can't remember his name. It's a young Canadian lad, Cody. He plays in
Davies.
Jonathan Davis.
Davis.
Yeah.
No.
Canadian.
No.
Yeah.
Are you talking about the one at Jonathan or Alfonso Davies at Bayern or Jonathan Davis?
No, I'm talking
Davies.
about Alfonso Davies. I like him.
From Canada.
Oh boy, do I like him.
Yeah, he's a baller.
He is
legit. He's legit.
And Bob, instead of coming on the show, decided to send us in a 2%. That's okay, Bob. I'll take your money over seeing your face any day. No, just teasing. Come on, McKennie is the story of the day. He'll end up in the Tomiyasu file soon enough. Surely a Don can get a player in without a circus linked FC.
Do you know what? This whole Don thing, I'd like to have a say. I think it's grossly unfair because, first of all, I don't think he's ever referred to himself as a Don. Just because someone else called him that, and then people hang the dude out to dry for it. It's like, fuck, man, give the guy a break. He's had, how long has he actually been working for Tottenham?
Bob's not. It's not an
Since
indictment
July.
of Paratici himself. It's an indictment of the people who have been
calling him the Don.
anointing him.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
Bob's mocking people is what he's doing.
Okay, because the guy, give him a chance. You know what I mean? And none of us know.
How can you if you're somebody who's calling him a Don, is that really it's you have to say both ends of the scale. Have to wait and see how he performs before they start either slandering him or anointing him as the savior of the club, right?
100%. It's the same as the defender we bought. For as much as on paper he looks like the best thing since sliced bread, we'll find out. The jury's out until he plays for us. You know what I mean? In a regular basis. And by the way, Will, I agree with your point of view when you was on Bob's show about whether he should play straight away. Fuck yes, he should play straight away. Because you're right. There's more history on those two fucking up than there is on him.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
I mean, because
you play the best 11.
Worst case scenario, you've got another screw up, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's the worst case scenario.
Right.
Best case scenario is he's amazing.
Yeah.
Right. You can't get any worse.
No, you really can't.
So
You talk about Romero.
Yeah.
Bringing Romero in off the first match. And if you want to blend him in and not piss off the other two, just play 3 at the back.
Right. And then drop one of them.
Yeah. And then halfway through the match, if Romero's doing good, you keep him on and pull one of the other ones out because one of them's going to make a mistake. And then
the one who you'd be dropping though would be Sanchez.
No, Dyer.
If you look at
Dyer.
No,
Dyer.
you'd be dropping. No, hear me out. If you look at the way Sanchez plays, he was kind of doing what Romero does, that push forward, nip in, tackle, get the ball. Dyer doesn't do that. And if you have both of them doing that, that can cause you some problems.
But at least Romero can recover quick, and also as Sanchez. Dyer is, they call him moon boots for a reason.
Oh, I know.
Yeah. If I would like Dyer first in a heartbeat. But I get what you say. But at least those two guys can recover. Dyer, he's stuck in the mud, moon boots. I mean, whatever name you want to give him. Yeah, he's not the most fanciest foot. But he will be my first to drop. But what sucks is Rodon being injured. I am expecting him to have a big year. Yeah, I'm expecting him to have a big year. So I want to see Rodon, but of course, we want him fit to be able to play. That's the only thing that sucks.
I think you would definitely have seen him in that European game.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But
I think we've got. Am I the only one that thinks we've got a really, really we've got a decent first 11, and then after that it gets thin.
Yeah.
Really.
I hope you're not the only one.
Even the first 11 is a bit weak, to be honest with you.
It's okay enough, you know what I mean? Look, it's not okay if you've got aspirations of pushing forward.
Look,
it's solid. It's a starting point.
But
we beat
sorry to interrupt you
Manchester
guys.
City.
I got to do the super sticker. Goguma, we got a pair, and it's a pair that's like. Let me switch cameras here. So the pair that's like.
No, Jason, I totally agree. I mean, thing is, okay, so we beat the champions on Sunday. We beat Man City.
But they were there.
It was great.
The perfect time to play them, though.
But can we seriously rely on Oliver Skip and Jaffa Tanganga to be playing that kind of football week in, week
Skip,
out?
Yes. Jaffa, we'll see.
Yeah. I think Ollie Skip, he proved he can be reliable. Both players could be reliable, but I'm just saying, even if you are looking at our starting 11, there's 2 kids in there, literal kids. So it's I don't know how to I just don't feel like the squad depth can be addressed in the last 9 days of the window. We've pissed away so much time.
Yeah, we're do you know what? Let's get it real. We're 2 injuries away from being fucked.
One injury, I think, because even if, let's say, Kane stays and one of Kane or Son, if they get injured, where do the goals come from? Because all of a sudden,
if Højbjerg gets injured,
yeah, but offensively speaking, when Kane and Son are not on the pitch together, we become much easier to defend. And yes, while it was nice that Son scored against City and we won the game, we can't just depend on him to score every game. And we don't really have players that look like scoring outside of him and Kane still,
We'll see this weekend because I don't expect Wolves to come running at us like Man City did.
No, it'll be interesting.
And I don't know if we've got the creativity in the mid.
Well, we looked so good on the counter, but you know that Wolves won't be leaving themselves open to that.
Well, I mean, I hope they do, but I don't think they will. You know what I mean? I genuinely don't think they will. You know, and that's where we're going to find out when you start playing clubs that aren't expected to beat you, that are going to like sit deeper, which is where we've normally come unstuck anyway, if I'm being honest, because we don't have that correct. What, Jesus Christ! How long is it going to be before we replace that creative mid role?
I've been saying it, but
I don't think it's a necessity right now.
Yeah. I mean, if we could get it, I mean, if we have a chance to get Aurier for 20 mil, I said only 20 mil. I mean, I'll pull the trigger because I mean we don't have it. But then again, they're looking at that. I see the Ruben Kazan winger. Now this one,
Tell me he's a right wing.
Yeah.
Is he another left winger or?
Yeah, because if he's a left winger, like what the fuck?
I don't know, and maybe I'm just being harsh, but it's that meme that like who, that Snoop Dogg on who, you know? 'Cause I don't know who that is, but you know it's kind of it's a bit discouraging because I'm just kind of like you know, and I know it's gonna be well happy, but you know you got the Bailey's was available, you have, you know, I mean heck. Try you talk about swap deals with Juventus, bring it into Dybala to try to scratch that post or something, you know. I mean, just I don't know. I mean, Ruben, because is he ready to play? Because he plays in I forgot which league. See, that's the thing. I'm trying to remember which league that he plays in. I'm just like, we seriously want to give 15 million euros to this guy, and he doesn't play in none of the. I mean. At least Brian Gill played in La Liga, you know, where the guy that we're trying to get Sarr played League One, but this guy he plays in. If I don't know if you guys can look it up, plays somewhere in Eastern Europe. I'm like, nothing against teams in Eastern Europe. Not saying that he's not good, but I never heard of the guy.
Yeah.
I've never heard of the guy.
Listen, as far as the Dybala idea. While, like, on paper, that would be nice. He's being paid more than Tanguy and Ndombele. And Harry Kane has a clause in his contract that states that if anybody gets a contract that pays them more per week than him, his contract, his weekly, it automatically gets bumped up. So, like, I think Dybala is on close to £240,000 a week. It's like 237 or something like that. So right off the bat, Harry Kane's getting bumped from 200 to 237. Plus, all of the image rights issues are still existing. I don't know if they were real when we couldn't get him over the line the first time. But
yeah,
what do you think about the prospect of playing Brian Heel?
It's off, Bob,
on the left side and put Sonny over on the right side?
Well, that could work. Did you see that? There was a couple of instances in that European game where Hill was trying to do some give and goes with fucking Doherty, and Doherty just didn't want to fucking feed him the ball. Like, what is it with that guy?
Can I quickly say this? Because I know there were a lot of naysayers about Gill in that game. You have to understand, when you saw him in the Olympics, he was playing with Asensio, and the rest of the Spanish players that we know who can play La Liga. He's playing with the likes of Daugherty. He's playing with the likes of Winks. I felt bad for the kid. He was the only one really trying the game, along with Sessegnon. I felt bad for Brian Gill because I was just like, do you see who he's surrounded by? I was like, so you know, he's still developing, but
yeah,
people
I'm not saying he's
Yeah,
I'm not saying he's the second coming, but he was trying some give and goes. He didn't stop running. He didn't stop trying to go for the fucking. But no one was feeding the ball. Anyway, I think that could work, Cody. Like I think if the match isn't going our way, bringing him on like halfway through the second half and doing that with Kane up the middle wouldn't be a bad shout.
Okay. What do you think about that idea, Will? Putting Sonny on the right side and putting Brian Heel on the left side.
I mean, you could. I don't think the Son's as good on the right as is he on the left. Right? His ability, his good ability, comes in from running in behind and then cutting inside and taking that shot with his right. He can do that on his left, but you're losing about 10% effectiveness.
Right, but would a front three, let's say Kane comes back into the fold, would a front three of Heel, Kane, and Son in that alignment be better than Son, Kane, and Bergwijn?
Actually, it would be Son, Kane, and Mora, wouldn't it? I feel.
Yeah, Son, Kane, and Mora.
Which I'm not upset by.
If I don't know, if Heel, I like the way Cody said it. If Heel is going to come into the team, I'm sorry, I'm not willing to move my best player to accommodate someone who's learning the game or coming in to join. No, he's the position we want a new winger in is on that right hand side, and if he is as good as the next Messi or the next Cruyff or the next Danny Ings, then he needs to be on that right and learn the trade.
And all those great left-footed wingers played on the right, not the left.
Yeah,
I'm just saying, like, if we don't end up getting a right winger, because like who are we getting? You know,
let's mold him, mate. Let's mold him. Let's mold him into that right-sided winger. You know, there's many every winger I know who's a successful winger I know. Even Robin made his name on the right wing, being left-footed. Sonny's making his name on the left-hand side, being right-footed, and it's always been that. Obviously, if you're doing it during the game, you want to change your tactics. You could swap wings.
Yeah.
But if he wants to get within the Premier League standard way of playing, then I think if it's good enough, he should be able to. And to be fair, I think a couple of clips I did see when he didn't give the ball away in the Olympics, he was actually down the right, cutting in, and I think the shot that everyone, the one shot that everyone talks about, it was coming in from the right. I'll still, yeah.
It's one thing to say, like, okay, you want to mold him into that role of being able to play as inverted, you know, on the right side as a left-footed player. But I'm just talking like tomorrow, you know, like would that be a possibility? Because, you know, I just feel like Son on his weaker side with Heel on his strong side would be a better combination than what you're suggesting.
Right, a better conversation it'd be like Scott here says, and you get a proper right winger, and then you don't have to make.
Yeah, who are we getting? Like,
why are we? This is the problem with our club. Have you ever noticed?
We're not going to get a right winger tomorrow morning before the game. I'm just saying, for tomorrow's game.
We'll be linked to about 15 though, Code. I'll bet you.
No,
we've been linked to
about
10 different players tonight.
Oh, we set them off.
We'll be linked to 15 left wingers. Is what we'll be left to. Our club, we have like four right backs. None of them are very good. We have like 12 left wingers, 37, 8/6 type midfielders, 245, kitmen, but we don't have any of the players that we actually need. I don't understand why we do that.
Nuno has spoke about that though. I feel that's what he's referring to when he said we need more balance in our squad. Because he knows the squad's completely unfucking balanced. And it is.
It is
completely unbalanced.
I mean, some of Lo Celso's best performances came there. Of course, he's not a right out and out winger, but some of his best performances on that first season was down the right as well. I still remember him in the Europa game, just taking on 3 or 4 players down that right. He's not the answer, of course, he's not. But we need.
He gives the ball away way too fucking.
Yeah, mate.
What it is
when he runs the ball out.
Sorry about what it is that Daniel Levy is playing like, still playing like FIFA 10, before they had chemistry in the squad, right? And so he's like, oh, I got all these players with OVR, So he's just stacking them up. I've got to. It means that no, you got to play FIFA 21. Where you got to balance it. You play a player out of his position, his OVR drops 5 points, right? Like, I mean, that's reality.
Do you know
It's
what
closer to reality?
One of the biggest criticisms that I've heard leveled against Paratici from Italy is that he failed at putting together a coherent squad, and that was a big reason why they went from winning 9 consecutive Scudettos to barely making the Champions League on the last day of the season last year. Like, the thing is, like, when we were hiring Nuno, there were lots of people who were upset about it, and part of their logic was, why are we hiring someone that's not good enough for Wolves? Why are Wolves comfortable letting Nuno walk out the door and mutually break up? But Paratici, it's not like Juve were desperate to keep him. It was the same scenario. Like, he didn't get sacked per se, but if he was that good, why wouldn't they want to keep him there? So
you're right, but there could also be several other reasons. I mean, as with most things to do with football, there's a lot of like, we're never going to know. Like, you can make some very good and astute assumptions based on what you do or don't know. Like, because I also heard when the other guy left, he got a shitload of more responsibilities outside of just scouting dumped on his head, and he struggled with that on top of doing what he just used to do. You know what I mean? Which then preceded the downfall. But again, I don't know. As far as him with us, we'll find out, won't we?
I suppose we'll find out, but I'm just tired of the buying for the future mantra.
Thing is, it's buying for the future, it's integral. It is, but not as the only thing you're doing. Like, the idea
you have
is
to have an actual.
First
squad.
of all, you have to have a squad, right?
Yes.
You have to pair buying for the future with buying for the right now as well, with like proven Premier League capable players. I mean, it's difficult to compare us to like the likes of Manchester City, but one thing that kind of goes low key, like under the radar, is that they spend big money on teenagers. And when I say big money, they're spending Matt Doherty money on 16 and 17-year-olds. And sure enough, there you have it. There comes the likes of a player like Phil Foden coming through their system and being absolutely brilliant. And it's just we're Tottenham's transfer policy is like trying to sit on a fucking chair with like one leg. You're just always going to end up teetering over at some point and falling over the way you build a team like that. So, yeah, it's just...
But that's because with the young guys, I think what it is that with the young guys, like, I don't mind buying young guys. Like, if we bought, 3 players for our first team and one guy every year, that would be great. You know what I'm saying? The problem is we end up buying 3 or 4 young guys, and the problem with young guys is that maybe it's 1 in 5 that ends up being a Harry Kane, a Heung-min Son, a Phil Foden. So when you're buying 5 and you're not, and you're wasting that money and not buying anyone except for one player to actually improve your first team, it's like it's literally like paying off the small bill and not paying the big bill. And you're just thinking that the big bill is going to go away. It's not.
If you're gonna buy in that demographic and make it like the building block of like the foundation of how the team is run, you can't do it with people who don't have scouting talent. I mean,
the thing is, Code. What the reason why is, and Jason will probably. Well, this is no insult to you guys, but Jason will probably remember this more than anyone. It's worked for us previously. We've brought in 2 young players, a Matty Edrington and a Simon Davis. Do you remember that, Jace? And then Simon Davis worked out, even with Michael Dawson. Michael Dawson was brought in with Andy Reid. Andy Reid was supposed to be the big...
Yeah, Dawson
Andy Reid was supposed to be the big...
Weight. Yeah,
exactly. And Dawson was just a make weight, yet he's turned out the best. So we have got history of buying in I'd go as far as Dele Alli. You know, he was a young person for the future. We got lucky with him that he kicked on. But the thing is, right now,
lucky for a time.
That's it. And I think because of that, maybe the board think, right, we've struck gold that time and a couple of times. We'll strike gold again.
It all comes down to Harry Kane. It's all Harry Kane's fault. 100%. We need to get rid of him.
And, I think I'll be interested to know what Jace and Co think. Yes, it's not had that long, with Paratici coming in. But do you think it's wrong of me to expect more from a director of football, be it Paratici, Paramagugu, be it Hitchin, be it whatever? Yep. Is it wrong of me to not to accept that we're in a weaker, in my eyes, totally disagree with me if you want, but in my eyes, we're a weaker team right now than what we were at the end of last season? I believe.
I think you could make an argument that our team is at least as strong, just because, like, if you say like in terms of the starting 11, like who have we lost of significant value? We lost Toby. We've replaced him with Romero.
I don't think that's a direct replacement, though, Code. We've lost someone who's had Premier League experience for a number of years, knew how to play the Tottenham way, and he's older. And we brought in a very, very, very good, by the way, I believe could be potentially world class, with a 23-year-old who's never had Premier League. So I believe that kind of weighs itself out.
Yeah, no, right. It does. But it's close to a like for like, if we're being honest, because Toby was a declining version of himself. You know, he'd lost a step. He wasn't able to play multiple games in a week. Yeah, he was starting to rack up some injuries, and he was on the wage that he was on. So, and you know, we were talking about the Serie A Defender of the Year. So, I mean, we don't know how he's going to adapt to the Premier League. Yeah. But on paper, you could say that Toby has left and we've replaced him. So, the squad has definitely not been improved upon.
Yeah,
it's really frustrating because we came into this summer transfer window being told that we were going to have to sell players in order to buy them. So really, on paper, the transfer window has kind of played out the way that you would expect if that's what's going to happen. You know, we're sitting on currently a net profit of £3.78 million. That's only because Golini and Romero's deals are loans with obligations or options to buy. If we exercise both those options, we've actually spent, 75 million euros or something close to that. But the squad just isn't better. So it's really frustrating as a Tottenham fan.
It's knowing weaker, that, surely, Code, it's weaker.
Well, we've improved who have we lost?
Okay, so we've got rid of Gil. We've got rid of Gil. We've got rid of Lamella.
Let's say Gil and Lamella are like for like.
Yeah, okay, and Romero, Toby, and then Hart and Golini upgrade. What about Vinicius? What about Bale?
Yeah, we've definitely lost some secondary and tertiary scoring options but Vinicius had X many goals, Bale had X many goals. How many of those goals came against quality opposition? I don't know if you need to worry so much about replacing Gareth Bale's Europa League goals or Carlos Vinicius FA Cup goals.
There were numbers, weren't they? It's a weaker squad, number-wise, quality-wise as well. Say what you want. Hey, I was one of Bale's biggest critics last season. Yeah, he did it against bigger teams, but the fact is we did win points against the weaker teams. As a squad, we're weaker. We can't be a stronger squad. We can't be a stronger squad without a Bale and a Vinicius and not replace them. I don't understand logically how we can be a stronger squad by losing a Vinicius and a Bale.
I'm not arguing that our squad is. I'm not arguing that our squad is stronger, but I don't think that it's necessarily that much weaker because it really depends on what we end up getting out of some of the younger players like Skip and Tanganga who have stepped into these roles who appear like they're walking into the starting 11. We definitely haven't improved, so it is frustrating. But at the same time, I don't know how you level sincere criticism of Paratici when he's clearly working within certain boundaries. We thought when Paratici was brought in, the hope was that Paratici is going to be given freedom to mold the squad in his image. We're going to get investment, because when we were linked with Conte, there was rumors swirling around that Levy was saying we were going to spend money and everything like that. I just don't know if that's ever been on, right? basically, there's been a whole lot of manipulation of media to make it look like and make us think that we have ambition, and none of it has come to fruition. You know, like how laughable is it that like 7 to 10 days ago we were talking about how we had a 90 million euro offer accepted from Inter Milan for Lautaro Martinez, and now a short like 7 to 10 days later we're being told, oh, we can't buy players until we sell more players. How the fuck does that make any sense whatsoever? You know, obviously we were not going to spend 90 million pounds or 90 million euro on Lautaro Martinez to come and play alongside Kane. The only reason that we had that agreement in place was because we were waiting for the Kane deal to come on. You know, we were waiting for the proper offer to come in that we would be able to spend the money that we had allocated to that. So in the end, we've dicked around. The Kane saga has been a hindrance in the transfer window for sure, in terms of like not knowing exactly what direction the club is going to be afforded to take itself in. And on top of that, Levy still has his two hands firmly on the neck of business, and we don't. I don't know what's going to happen the rest of the way here.
People have forgotten that though. Okay, that's the unfortunate thing about it, mate. The fingers aren't pointing in the right direction.
There's been so much crap going on between Harry Kane and you know, at the return of football, like the fact that we're actually playing games now is also like a huge distraction. I think what's going to happen is we like, I get stick all the time on Twitter for being critical of the business that we've done so far, and everybody just keeps saying wait till September 1st, don't pass judgment until September 1st. Well, yeah, I mean, in some respects, okay, you're not going to judge the window until it's over, but isn't it up to the supporters? Isn't it up to the supporters to apply the pressure onto the board and the ownership to make the moves before the window closes? If you wait until the window closes to apply that kind of pressure and express yourself, then really it's like complaining about who gets elected when you don't vote. You know, it doesn't make any sense to me. But we'll see what happens. I mean, I don't have any expectations for what's going to happen in the rest of the window. As far as I'm concerned, our business is concluded. So anything else that we do will be a nice surprise.
Man. That's horrible.
That's sad.
Look, but that's another thing too that bothers me.
I'm just being like, it's not what I want.
I know.
Right? It's not what I want. It's just
no. I don't mean you. I mean other people out there.
I know
there are other people out there. Because even when we were on Bob's stream earlier, there was people in the chat that were like, there's 10 days left, Bob. And those are the same people that said there's 2 weeks left, Bob. Those are the same people that said there's 30 days left, Bob. Yep. And those are the same people who said there's 2 months left, Bob.
The thing is, we've had this like almost fortunate run of results here since the Premier League season began. Where so we beat Man City. It's a feel-good win, 3 points on the board. It's good for the club. But then we go away to Portugal, to Paços de Ferreira, and our lack of depth is put on display for the world to see. Right? So it's like, okay, so we bagged our 3 points, but also now Nuno's just sitting there like, what do I do with this crap? You know? Yeah. Listen, I said it on an earlier stream. If I was Nuno, I would put the same starting 11 out, except for CCV, who's hurt, because frankly, this, like, as much as I want to win a trophy and win a cup, if we have to play Son, Højbjerg, Lucas, Kane, any of those like key players in our squad just to make a deep run into that competition, we just don't have the depth to deal with that. Yeah. We don't.
Probably don't deserve to be in it.
Yeah.
What do you get for winning that competition? Sorry, man.
There is a bit of money though. That's the thing, Chase. It's only a few million or a couple of million less than the Europa, isn't it?
But
there is a bit of a cash build at the end.
What do you get if you win that competition?
You get entrance into the Europa League, and honestly, from what I've read, the points for the UEFA coefficient for the Europa Conference League are very strong. It's almost on par with the Champions League, which is yay. Like what does the average fan care about that? But it is important to the club. And the thing is,
when the new Champions League format, we will want those coefficient points.
Yes, we will. A cup is a cup. You know, you
100%.
Winning a cup as much as like we should win this competition. I mean, we were favored to win Europa when we got eliminated by Dinamo Zagreb, but you would think that it would be a
crickets over there
building block.
still, or what?
You would think it would be like a building block towards creating a winning culture at the club. You know, you win your Europa Conference League, and then maybe you tack on a League Cup the next year, and then the FA Cup. You know, like you would hope that it would create like a winning culture, which we clearly don't have at the club.
We don't. It's not even that though. We don't have a big enough squad to compete on all these fronts.
That's the problem. So, like, it's like history repeating itself, because this is what the exact same problem that Maurizio Pochettino had, which like fans now retroactively criticize Poch for his approach to the cups. But the reality is we just didn't have the squad depth. Like, we saw the toll that it took last year. Okay, so last year you could probably pinpoint Antwerp away as where our season began to unravel, because we went away to Antwerp. The squad, the secondary and tertiary players were trusted with getting a result. We didn't get it. After that, Jose was forced, if he was going to want to remain fighting on all fronts, he was forced to play the likes of Højbjerg. He was forced to play the likes of Heung-min Son. All those players who just burned out and ran out of gas down the stretch. You know, it's history repeating itself. The state of the squad right now is the same as it's been for years now. And the reality is, if we want top four, that means we can't take the cup seriously with the state of the squad. So it needs to change.
I was going to say the perfect storm, not so perfect for us, but happened in the sense of not having that coach, not having that director of football for a month, starting late. Now you can imagine, and this is all goes down to Levy. You can imagine, right? Before the sack of Jose, right? You know, my thinking was Jose was going to stay, you know, through this next season. Business would start June 1st of maybe getting Stabitzer in, getting a right wing in, getting some center backs in. But we know that didn't happen. We went more than 70 days without a coach. Technically, our director of football started on July 1st, meaning allowing clubs like Leicester City to get a jump on a Bukhari Samare. Yeah, they're in the Europa League, but come on, Tottenham is a bigger name than Leicester. Yes, Leicester is run much better, but they had to jump to get Bukhari Samari. And this one hurts the most because we're looking for a backup striker. Patson Daka.
Dude.
Went to Leicester City. This guy who we've been linked to, who has, I mean, literally could be a home run hit for Leicester City. We started July 1st in trying to build that depth, and then you take the same Levy tactics of leaving things late. You know, if you believe the story true about Martinez, okay, we had a deal in, but we left it late, probably finagling, and Chelsea came in and said, you know what, we're going to take the other striker. Boom, this deal is canceled. So it goes back down to Levy, you know, because this rant started from, you know, Paratici, you know, if he's really a Don or not a Don. But I just think that he's doing his work. He's somewhat handcuffed to the philosophy that we have with our club. And I said this in Bob's show. I said it even on my stream and Tommy's stream. I hate the fact that we do our business so late. I think it's not professional. Yes, you can still do deals on, you know, August 31st. Great. But for me, I would rather start my business in June, beginning of July, so all the players could come in, assembled. Like Romero, you know, should have been in earlier. Yes, I know he played the Copa America and whatsoever. Yeah, I get that. But he should have been a week or two at least earlier. That business should have been done. And that's one example of we always do our business late. And we're lucky that, no, not lucky that we beat Manchester City, but most of the time we start off slow because we don't do our business we don't do our business early. We like to do it late. And It's frustrating.
Like Tommy Asu. Yeah, like
Yeah.
Tommy Asu.
And I've always hated it that we always do our business the last day of transfer deal, and I'm just like, you're basically conceding that we're going to be weak the first 3 or 4 games of the year. So it goes back to Levy. It goes back to Levy.
Yep.
Let's get Stelios in here.
Stelios.
Oh, fuck. Stelios.
What's up, Cody McFlurry?
Is it burger time yet, or?
Yeah, that's why I've got the camera.
That's what the sounds are.
I've got the camera because I'm just having a couple of chocolate croissants at 3 a.m. with a cup of tea.
4 a.m., mate. 4 a.m.
We can hear.
Oh wow, 4 a.m. Sorry, man. I'll turn the mic off.
Couple of
Maybe.
chocolate croissants.
No, you're good.
Sorry.
Who's that? Oh, is that Jason?
It is, mate. How's it going?
Oh, shut up. How you doing?
Not bad, brother.
No, he told you shut up, Jason. You're not supposed to talk after someone tells you to shut up.
That's English code
That's
for hello,
English
mate.
for hello.
I know that. I was joking. It's like, get out of here.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
I like England. I love all these like new terms that I've been exposed to by being associated with Tottenham, like cunt and bint and wanker and all that shit. I wish I could just say it.
Rubbish.
I wish I could just walk around saying that shit and not have people look at me weird. You know, like, "Good morning, you bint."
You just did.
Cody, you got to learn you mug.
Mug.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You mug. Bob's your uncle.
Holly Agumbar says egg as an insult, and I absolutely love it. And she tweeted tonight. She said, because she's started tweeting like late night thoughts. I think she gets drunk and she wants to like tweet her thoughts. And she said, "Late night thoughts. Ndombele is an egg." And I told her, well, he's French, so he's actually an oof.
Do you guys have Bob's your uncle, Fanny's your aunt?
No,
Bob's your uncle. We have.
we don't
Bob's your
have
uncle,
that.
Fanny's your aunt. Yeah,
I don't
Fanny's
even
your
know what
aunt.
that means.
Never heard of it.
I heard it from Austin Powers. That's
Bob's your
that's the first
uncle.
time I heard Bob's your uncle.
Bob's your uncle, Fanny's your aunt, mate.
Why is Bob my uncle?
I don't know.
Fanny's
mate. I've
your
got-
aunt.
No, because Fanny's your aunt, yeah.
Because we said so, and that's all. That's it.
That's it.
Makes total sense.
It doesn't
Yeah.
even be logic.
So why
I
can't
love
Steve
saying,
be
I
your
love, I
uncle?
love saying it. I love saying it to my nieces and nephews. Bob's your uncle, mate. All right, shut the fuck up.
Well, Bob is their uncle.
Bob is your uncle, yeah.
Boo.
Lads, I need to tell you something about Paratici. by the
I've been
way.
waiting.
Tell
I've been
us,
waiting
tell
for
us
this.
why.
We're
Tell us
waiting
why
for
go
this.
take a weevee.
I'll go on mute.
Weeby.
A weevee. A weevee.
Weeby.
A
A
bye-bye.
Weeby, right.
You know when we first signed him, right? I wasn't expecting miracles, and I wasn't expecting shitloads of signings and all the deadwood to go. I actually tweeted a number of times, we need 3 years, because to get rid of 10 or 12 players and to sign 10 or 12 players, I think we need 3 major summer transfer windows. But the one thing I was looking for was a behavioural change, the quality of play we brought in and the way we did it. And sadly, I've got to say, I don't see a major change, man. And that says to me that Levy, he's at it again. And this Paratici guy is not going to last. To leave everything to the last minute is exactly what we've been doing for the last 20 years. So if you're a top director of football, surely you go into a club and you say, right, the methods that you've been using and the way you've been going about it hasn't worked, and that's why you've called me in. And you're clearly failing every single year. So the first thing we've got to do is identify what positions do we need, what players should we try and get in for those positions, and this is the time frame I need to operate in to give the manager the best chance to start the season strong. And that's why I agree with what I forgot his name. Is it Mari?
Mari, yeah.
Mari, that's what Mari said. And we've done it again. Brian Hill, one for the future. Galini, one for the future. You could maybe argue Romero is one for now. But in terms of like players we need right now, guys, it's not been done. And it's all left to the last minute. It says to me, Levy is still controlling it, and it's an absolute joke. And I tell you what, I don't care if Arsenal spent 50 million, 130 million, 600 million. I couldn't give a shit about them. But what they
got
have
their
done is
target.
they've got the positions that they wanted sorting, and they've done it after it's all been done after the first game of the season. And you look at us, who have maybe got more money. We're in Europe. We finished above them. We're a shit show, and you've got fans going on other people's channels saying things like, look, just give it time. It's a project. I'm like, I've given it 20 years. I pay £1,000 a year for my. I've given £20,000 to
Trust
the
the
club.
process.
I've
Trust the
given
process.
20 grand to Levy, and they want me to
Listen,
trust the process. Like,
one thing about
what
one
planet
thing
are you
about
on?
one thing about Arsenal's business, okay? Like people, that's fine and well. You know, we know what they are, right? They're the scum. They're the gooners. We don't like them at all. We take every shot that we can take at them. Let me tell you something about Arsenal. There is a reason that they are having to overpay to bring in players that do not meet the price, the valuation that they are having to pay. And we are sleepwalking into the same situation.
Yep.
Absolutely. Arsenal have to pay that kind of money to get players to come there because of the situation that they're in. And we are not very far behind them at all. We're not. So laugh now, because if things don't change now, we're going to be in the same fucking boat. We're going to be bringing in, and the thing is too, like, given our recruitment record, I just don't see, like, we're going to end up worse off. Like, you could argue as much as, like, we haven't even, like, addressed the fact that we need to just rip the Band-Aid off and completely rebuild this squad. Why are players like Serge Aurier and Moussa Sissoko still at this fucking club? Why are we only seeing now in the news that they've been transfer listed? Some of these players have expressed their open willingness to leave the club, their open desire to leave, and yet we're sitting here on August 21st with tomorrow morning. I will wake up. There will be 9 days left in the transfer window, and they're still here. They're still here, and they're still on the wages that they're on. We need to learn how to cut our losses on some of these players and get them out of the club, because otherwise we're going to be in the same fucking boat as Arsenal, and we're going to be the ones getting laughed at, because by the time we're in the same situation, they will be past us.
Cody, it's worse than that. It's worse than that, because today Ndombele and Harry Kane want out. We don't fix the problems now. Next season, it's Heung-min Son and Reguilon. The year after, it's Højbjerg and Skip. And all you're doing is you're replacing the players that have left, and you're not actually building a squad that can win trophies. We've never, ever built a squad at Tottenham under ENIC and Levy. We've always had a half-decent 9 or 10 starting players, 2 or 3 subs that you think, okay, maybe. After that, it's dog shit. And it's been like that for 20 years.
Yeah. Oh, we've got a weaker squad. We have right now got a weaker squad, because even if the players who are still here, Aurier, he's not going to be giving us we know he's going to want to go. Sissoko, there's no future for him. At least last season he was within the squad. Ndombele's going. Kane, we don't know. Romero for Toby. Yes, Agil for Lamella. Yes, Galini for. But like I say, we can't just poo-poo the fact we had a Vinicius and we had a Bale. They've not been replaced. I would go as far as saying we're a much weaker team right now, with the personnel, with the mindset of some of the personnel that we've got in the squad. And I'm not sure if Paratishi's Estelle just mentioned plan was, with 9-10 days to go before the end of the transfer window, we'd be in this position. If it was, then I think it's unbelievable. Yeah, of course it is, mate. But no one's pointing the finger. No one's pointing the finger there anymore, are they? They would rather stand there and argue the point and defend the point. For some reason, this Paratishi's bulletproof. They would not hear a single bad word against Paratishi, and would rather defend him than actually point the finger where it should be pointed, and that's the board. And when I say Don Paratishi, I know you mentioned it earlier, Jace, that wasn't me saying Don Par. It's me taking the piss out of the fan base who have labelled him a fucking Don. He's nowhere near a Don.
At the same time, though, Bob, right? if this guy had something about him, he would have pulled Levy into his office, not gone into Levy's office and said, "Listen, why the fuck am I here? When I was at Juventus, I never left things.
We know
I
that.
never left
We
things
know
to-
that. He's not going to last, is he? He's going to do another Mitchell.
Well,
I predicted it. Yeah, I predicted it.
if we lose Kane and Ndombele, 100% he will, because we're not finishing top 10 if Kane goes, because we're not going to get another top striker in the time. We're not.
The thing is,
We need to keep Kane now. We have to keep Kane now. We have to, otherwise we're fucked.
100%.
And I've only been following this club religiously from 2008, so I know Bob and Stelios will probably know and Jason know, but I honestly put this on a chat that the fan base has been lied to in regards of we got to be frugal with the money because we can't spend the likes of City, United, and Chelsea, and all the other clubs. And
Mari, sorry, I got to interrupt there. That's not true. That's not true.
No, it's not true. I know. Yeah, I'll say. Yeah. No,
we spend money. We spend a lot of money. Chelsea spent 230 million last summer and bought 5 top players and won the Champions League and got top 4. We spent the exact same money in 2 seasons, but rather than buying 5 top players, we buy 11 players. 2 are good, 9 are shit. Will Stewart summed it up on Bobspur TV earlier when you were on the same show when he said, "We buy players for the future. We don't buy proven finished products." And that's the problem with Tottenham.
The future never comes. And the future
So
never comes.
let me finish. No, and I agree with that, because once again, I mean, I won't mention name, but they came on and they said, "Well, you don't know the real finances of the club, blah blah blah." And I said, no, look, I have done my homework on this club. They have been spreading lies in regards to we can't spend on the quality as these other clubs, because now we incurred a stadium debt, which mind you, they've been profiting for all these years. But I figure out what Spurs do, and this is why we can't have the depth to have a quality team. We'll always have 3 excellent players and the rest mediocre. It's just that
are you building a house or what?
Yeah.
What's going on?
Mine was
Sorry,
two
I just
sugars.
put it on
You
mic.
better you better be at the sink and not in the toilet, mate. That's all
Two
I'm saying.
sugars, mate. Two
No,
sugars.
I'm trying to make a cup of tea and I was opening the sugar
That's what I
pot.
thought.
Let me put it
Two
back on.
sugars,
Let me put it on mute.
You get yourself a noise gate, then you don't have to worry about it.
You look at what Spurs do, there's a name for it in business, where Spurs recycle their funds within the club, while the other clubs, they may somewhat do that, but they invest the money in, and that's how they're able to have a larger squad, larger depth of a team like Chelsea. You're wondering why they have 3 strikers on their team. We haven't had 3 strikers on our team. I don't think in my lifetime of being a Spurs fan.
Oh, we
We've
did.
had 4. We've had 4. Yeah.
Okay, well, what's the Defoe?
Berbatov, Robbie Keane, Defoe.
Robbie Keane,
Jacob,
Defoe. Yeah, Defoe. Yeah.
Even when Lorente was here, we had Lorente, Kane, Parrott.
Yeah.
What'd that other dude,
Parrott.
Jensen?
Yeah. But you look at the spending model of Tottenham in regards to they recycle the money that they have. So that's why they were willing to get young people, let's buy a little bit expensive here, but get young here so it won't break the model, because Enoch and Tavistock have so much money on other entities that they won't spend on the main entity, which is Tottenham. So I think it's bullshit when someone comes to me, "Oh, we can't spend the likes of having depth like United or City." It's all rubbish. It's all rubbish. And I wanted to come back at that person, but I was already done arguing. I was like, what? Because people do. Joe Lewis and Enoch Tavistock makes so much money from their other properties. And mind you, the cities and United, they know how to take funds that they make and to invest in their club. It's just that Joe Louis chooses not to do that because recycled funds is being used within the team, and you get what you pay for.
We don't have
That's
to
plain
look
and
that
simple.
far. We don't have to look that far afield, do we, guys? Really? I mean, we've got the best stadium in the world, who's going to be the biggest cash cow in European football, probably. I'll probably overbigged it there, but the amount of money that's going to bring in as well, that can't be understated. But the reason why we can't move on the smaller teams is, I bet all of us would sell Harry Winks tomorrow for 10 million. We'd all sell him for 10 million easy tomorrow. Levy won't. And that's we're always going to hit that brick wall when it comes to getting rid of our so-called surplus for requirements players. We'll always come up against that. We would take 10 million for Harry Winks right now.
Do you know what I'd like to know? Do you know what I'd like to know, Bob? There's so much that needs to be done with this club. Players in, players out, style of play, bringing through the academy kids and loaning out academy players for experience. There's so much that needs to be done, plus keeping the existing top players happy. What is the plan? Like, what have they drawn up? Because apparently Romero said that he bought into the plan that Paratici showed him. What is that plan he showed him? Because I'm trying to think from experience supporting this club and looking at what's going on now. I just see the same shit again. I don't get it.
Same.
But there must be some kind of plan in place.
Lenik is still there, mate. Lenik is still there.
Bobby, I do want to correct you, Bobby, on one thing. You said that the stadium is a cash cow. That's totally incorrect. The cash cow is the supporters. The stadium is just there.
Yeah.
We're the cash cow, right?
Yeah, right.
I was going to say,
I'm not going to Lady Gaga concert, Cody. I'll tell you that now.
Still, if you've put 20 grand into
backing
the
dancer.
club so far, that must mean you're entitled to at least 5 minutes of a good performance from Ndombele.
Yeah.
Or I can come on for 5 minutes, Chase.
Probably give
Honestly,
more.
mate,
Give more as well.
I would make a point of coming over just to see that.
Of course, I'll go up front.
Why
You
not?
can't really put. I think you can't really compare, or can you compare Kane wanting to leave as the same as Ndombele wanting to leave? Can you compare?
No, you can't. No,
because
no, not
still, you kind of asked the question earlier, didn't you? The reason why Kane wants to leave, and then you asked the reason why Ndombele wants to leave. I mean, is Ndombele's reason wanting to leave down to the lack of ambition for the club? Does he really give a shit about the club that much, or is it just?
I think what happens is because players are on such high wages and because they're superstars, we expect miracles. But sometimes we don't put ourselves in their shoes, and maybe it's just like my coaching habits coming out. But for me, I look at Ndombele. He came to Tottenham when we were Champions League finalists, top four, playing Champions League, knocking on the door of trophies, and Poch was one of the most sought after coaches. Within 3 months of coming, Poch is sacked. Jose comes in. Jose plays a style of football that bypasses the midfield, doesn't really want possession. That's exactly Ndombele's game. Then Ryan Mason comes in, doesn't play him, doesn't let him play in a final that we got battered in. I think his heart has gone. I think he's come to Tottenham for, this isn't what I thought. And some players might fight for their place and say, no, I'm going to really step up my game and I'm going to try and get back into this squad. Other players, they're like, fuck this. And I think he's just said, fuck this. Not that I'm saying I defend that, but I can see his point of view.
I was going to say,
I'm not defending it, Jason. I'm just saying I can see his point of view. We have not built a team that plays to the strengths that suits Ndombele. I really don't think we have. And even now, watching us play, like Nuno, I was a White Hart Lane. I watched us play against Arsenal in the pre-season and against Man City. We're not playing possession-based football, build up the play, switch to play, try and create gaps on the field of play and penetrate. We're playing quite defensive, very compact and organised football, and we counter. Again, I don't think that's Ndombele's game. It might suit him being sold because I don't think this team, the style suits him. I'm just playing devil's advocate. I could be completely wrong. But
do you think if we get Aurier, right? Because the other thing is they don't want to do the swap deal, but they're still offering him. he worked well in Lyon with Ndombele.
He's inconsistent, Murray. Aouar's inconsistent. He's a top player, but he's inconsistent.
Yeah, but does that at least excite Ndombele? Be like, oh, I know this guy. I can work with this guy. Because
what are you saying? Are you saying we should buy friends to keep?
Well,
we should buy
no. I'm just throwing it out there. Yeah, I know we have that problem because we're trying to sell his friends Aurier and what's his face Suzuki, but I mean that was the time when he was supposedly happy, and we all saw what they both did in the Champions League. I mean, I'm just throwing it out there. If we were to sign him, would he do a U-turn and be like, "Oh, this is great. You got one of my former teammates that I played real well with, and we got this connection." But
I think it's got to the stage where he has to go because if he's put a transfer request in, that means he doesn't want to play there. He doesn't. It's not just the club. It'll be maybe he doesn't like living in London. Maybe he doesn't like the food. He's used to his French cuisine. I don't know. But when you put a transfer request
in, what do you mean? He can get chocolate croissants.
Listen, I've got plenty.
You're eating them right now.
I'll sort him out. Don't worry about that.
Or should we say pan au chocolat?
Chocolat
whoa! As Bob would say, whoa! I've got a £5 super chat here from Wayne Bonner, who's a legend. He says Levy's too sentimental with some of our players. He needs to cash in and move them on so both they and the team can progress. I don't disagree with you at all. Levy out, Enoch out, and he also says for another £2, our club breaks players rather than build them up. And this has been the trend. Yeah.
Bob, I'll tell you one problem we've got, and it's a bit unusual. The two players we've got an issue with, Kane and Ndombele, both value-wise are making it very, very difficult for us to get a deal done. Harry Kane's, there's only maybe two clubs that could afford him, and we're not going to back down on the price. And Ndombele, £60 million, 200 grand a week. That's a tough player to shift out of your club who, in the eyes of many, hasn't really proven himself enough to justify that price tag. So it couldn't have happened to the two. These are the two worst players this shit could have happened with for us.
As far as Kane's concerned, I mean, you're right on both fronts, but as far as Kane's concerned, this whole fucking self-entitled bullshit from Man City, like, what makes them think they've got the God-given right to offer us what they think is worth, and we should have to take that?
They're testing the water, Jace. They're just testing the water, aren't they?
Fucking, can't just, yeah.
Well, look, it's worked because they've unsettled Kane.
I know, but my thing is, right,
worked, isn't it?
If Kane should have the ump with anyone, he should have the ump with Man City because they're the ones not stumping up the right amount of money.
No, look, I think there's more here. I think that City was in communications with Kane far before this. They said that they would be willing to go in at 100 million, and that's why on the Neville interview, Harry Kane spit out that price.
Yeah, that fucking interview.
I mean, Harry Kane didn't come with that price off the top of his head, right? Somebody from City said that's what we're willing to pay this summer, and that's why he threw it out there. Put pressure on Daniel Levy. Kind of backfired on him.
How delusional does someone have to be to realise that market trend reflects market value? Man City are the very people who have paid
100 million.
100 million, yeah. 100 million. Yeah. I mean, for me, I always put this argument across. Do we all agree with past performances, Premier League appearances, certainly within the last, I'd say, 3 or 4 years, Sonny is a better player than Grealish?
For sure.
Yeah.
I believe. So for me, Sonny would be, and he's at his peak at the age of 28, is worth more than Jack Grealish. And we all agree Kane's a better player than Sonny. So I don't know how delusional someone would have to be to think that they would go at the same price as a Grealish when you've got Sonny who's worth more than him, and he's surely seen as a better investment as Sonny.
Statistically, to the eye test, Son was the best left winger in the league last season, 100%. If not the world. So,
oh yeah, he's world class. It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate because he has tainted his legacy.
It's so sad because,
unfortunate.
like, honestly, okay, so like, I went golfing this morning. Most of the matches were over by the time I got home, so all I could do is, I don't have time to rewatch every game, so I watched back all the highlights. Each match, a lot of the matches when it was the first match with fans for their respective clubs back in the stadium, we saw what it was like for Tottenham last Sunday. It was absolutely bonkers. You look at Leeds, right? You look at Brighton. You look at all these different clubs. When they've scored, the passion of the fans was just, you could just drink it. You could drink it right through the screen. It was so obvious. And then you watch the Man City highlights where they can't even fill the goddamn stadium. And they're battering Norwich 5-0. And it's just like, listen, I understand that as Tottenham fans, we get bantered for not winning trophies, and I can accept that. It's a tired argument. For me, being a Tottenham fan is just, I just love the highs and the lows, because for me, like, it's almost like the pain can increase the pleasure. You know what I mean? Like when you're Man City and you are literally just going out there and trotting out a 550 million pound squad that is mostly made of backups, and you've got almost 400 million sitting on the bench as well. And most of the matches, like, seriously, the first match that you can have fans in 18 months, the opening day of a fresh season, coming off of a Premier League title, and you can't fucking sell your place out. It's just pathetic. Why on earth? I think I really hope that Harry Kane takes a long, hard look at what went on today at Man City and thinks, is it really that much more special? Is it really worth leaving? Right? I mean, look at, just all you have to do is go back to last Sunday and
Cody,
look at
he
what's
doesn't look
going
at
on
that,
this
dude.
Sunday too, and think, okay, like, trophies are trophies, right?
It's all about
But
trophies, Cody.
Is
for
it
him.
that
Yeah.
is it that special when it's just guaranteed and you're looking at it the way that you did today? Like, I'm sorry, but are you watching Harry Kane? Are you watching? Because
You used the perfect
it
word,
was
didn't you?
it was
Cody? You used
saddening.
the perfect word.
Yeah, but Cody, that's like saying I'm not going to go to Harvard University because I'm guaranteed the best job if I get a degree from there. No, you go there because you're guaranteed it. So for him, he's going there because it is the guarantee. That's the whole point, isn't it?
Yes, but
I
Stelios,
hear what you're saying, though.
how
I hear
much?
what you're saying.
Let me ask you, like, one trophy with Tottenham, regardless of the trophy, how much is that worth compared to what, like, how many trophies he could go and win at Man City?
For us as fans, it's worth everything. But for him,
He's
he
a fan,
wants
though,
to
isn't he?
be 35, looking at his mantelpiece, trophies everywhere, tell his grandkids all the stories of when they won this, when they won that. And I just think he's just at a point at Tottenham where he's scared that's never going to happen.
He wants to be Ronaldo and Messi. That's what he
Is it-
wants to be.
Is there an argument he could stay at Spurs for the rest of his life and win one or even no trophies, and be seen as a bigger winner than moving to Man City?
I
and
think the
winning 4 or
media
5
are
titles?
doing their best, Bob, to ruin that. I think the media want him gone.
They
The thing
really
is,
are, aren't they?
in some respects, I agree with what Stelios has to say, because as time passes and as history begins to forget the circumstances under which Manchester City have been racking up their trophies, it will not matter as much in the context of history, the fact that they went out and bought things. In fact, if you go into our history, when we were winning the double in the early 1960s, we were known as the money team. So maybe not on the scale that it is today, but in some respects, the game of football has always been about investment and how much you spend, and it being correlated to how you win trophies. But I mean, it's gotten to the point now where I think everyone could agree that it's an absolute illness. The sport is broken. I'm not going to say beyond repair, but like, money has definitely ruined the sport. So I don't know. I don't think that Harry Kane could go on to win nothing at Tottenham and be remembered the same. But I don't think, like, he could go to Man City and win like a Premier League title and a League Cup and be it's difficult. It's a very difficult question to put into context.
Cody, the problem is here. He was at Tottenham in a period where we did the most sabotage things we could have done. We're the first club ever in the whole of Europe across all leagues to go over 500 days without buying a single player.
Yeah.
Right? That was insane. And we're the only club I've ever known. I've never known a club that sacks the manager 5 days before a cup final. I mean, and the replacement is a kid. You know, we've done everything we can to sabotage the chances of success. And you think, why would you do that whilst we've got Kane? Like, do it when we don't have Kane. Why do it when we've got him?
Yeah,
it's crazy.
We were on the precipice of greatness, and we acted like it was the middle of the 1990s.
Oh man, I tell you. Do you know?
I think like people have forgotten. People have
actually in the 1990s. We probably would have bought a couple of players.
People have very
Andy
short
Sinton,
memories.
Rule Fox, yeah,
right. People have very quickly forgotten. Like at the beginning of this transfer window, or at the end of last season, how many Tottenham fans were sitting here saying Kane could leave with my blessing?
Yeah, 100%.
Right. People have very quickly forgotten the circumstances under which this has happened.
No, it was no, Cody. I think that's unfair. I still believe he has every right to go with my blessings. Everything. It's the way he's gone about it, and I've said that since day one. No one. I've got no issue. I can separate the two. I understand why he wants to go.
Bob. What has he done differently than his predecessors who have had to force their way out? Honestly.
Done it the proper. No, of course it's different. You can't compare a Kane at Tottenham Hotspur Football Club to a Bale or a Modric. They weren't there from the youngsters. They weren't brought in from the academy. They went
was here for like what, 2 seasons?
Exactly. You can't. There's no comparison code for one of our own. For someone who was looked upon as saying, you know what, no matter what, he's one of our own. He'll never let us down. He'll always be professional and he'll always give us our own. Now there's a fan base, understandably, point the finger and say, "Nah, bullshit, mate. You're not one of our own anymore."
But hasn't Harry Kane given more to Tottenham Hotspur than the players that you're talking about as well?
Yeah, 100%.
I don't begrudge him the move. I don't.
That makes it even worse,
I don't begrudge him the move.
But the thing is,
my main issue has always been that fucking interview. The timing of that fucking interview.
Oh yeah,
was disgraceful. It was fucking disgraceful.
The season wasn't over. The season wasn't even over yet. He did that interview. It rubbed me the wrong way. I'm not gonna lie. I heard that interview. I was just like, damn. I'm like,
do that, and the season's finished, man.
In some respects, like I agree with you, but on another level, like it's like, okay, don't forget who Harry Kane's dance partner is here, right? If you're going to go toe-to-toe with Daniel Levy and you think you have a chance of winning that battle, you have to go to depths that he would go to, right? There is no scenario where Harry Kane is going to leave Tottenham Hotspur under the sunny sky that everybody wants to do. He's not going to sail off into the fucking sunset like people want him to. If he's going to break his way out of the prison that is Tottenham for him right now, he's going to have to fucking rip the bars apart. So, like,
there could have been the sunniest sky. There could have been the sunniest sky. If he played it right,
there was never going to be a scenario where he was going to leave this club without being seen as disrespecting the badge and disrespecting the fans.
I can give you a scenario. Hold on. I'll give you a scenario. The scenario would have been he'd done that interview afterwards, yeah? If Man City would have come in and said, "We'll give you 150," and then Levy started acting like a dick, then Kane can do all the shit he wants, and I wouldn't begrudge him that.
But because those are factors that are not in Kane's control.
Well, Kane controls what he does and when he does it. He could have done that interview after the season had finished. And then if Man City then puts the bid in, yeah, and then if Man City makes an official bid of a sufficient amount of money, if Levy knocks that back, then Kane is entitled, in my opinion, to throw his fucking toys out the pram.
Oh, seriously!
I've got no
Look
issue
at,
with
look
that.
At,
then
look at how
No, I'm
long.
sorry.
Look at
That's
the
how I
amount
see
of
it.
time it took for Christian Eriksen to force his way out of this club. You're telling me that if Kane was serious about a move away from Tottenham, that he could have waited until the summer transfer window and just submitted a transfer request, he would have been on his happy way, and everybody would have clapped him off? Absolutely not. It was
No,
always
no,
going to be ugly.
no,
It was
the
always going to be ugly.
No, the
I
problem
would,
is
and
the
if he
problem.
did put a transfer request in, I wouldn't have a problem with that either.
No, the
But he
problem.
fucking hasn't.
The problem is, and Ericsson it's a little different situation. The problem is that, and you use the keyword dance partner. Harry Kane thought he had a serious dance partner with Man City, who was somewhat yeah, they messed him up. Who somewhat was in, but not all the way in. They were only in if they knew that if they could try to force a move, undervalue. The likes of Florentino Perez, Barca in his heyday, and even PSG, what these clubs are so smart, they go for their target. They're already working on Mbappe. They were like, all right, this is the time for you to strike because we can pay that money. You can force your way out. We can pay that money where we leave the other team at a position where they have no choice other than to sell the player because they met that valuation. In this case, that did not happen because, number one, he had an agent who didn't do his homework. If you know that your dance partner is not willing to pay the value of their parent club, you don't do it, especially with 3 years left in the contract. You just don't do it. I don't care about the judgments. He knows Kane better than anybody else. No, I mean, Daniel Levy better than anybody else. Gentleman's agreement, that's not going to work. You have to have a dance partner, Man City, that has your back to go up against Daniel Levy enforcing a deal. So basically, Kane and his brother failed at how to force a move, a proper move.
Right.
They failed.
Okay. Let me tell you what the net result of this entire fucking saga is going to be, right?
Mhm.
You are going to end up with players who are unwilling to commit to Tottenham Hotspur. You're going to end up with players that aren't going to be willing to sign a contract unless there's a release clause in there, which, admittedly, fine. It could have been smarter by Harry Kane to have it in there. But at the same time, it's like, don't you want players to be signing like 6-year deals with Tottenham? Don't you want players to think that Tottenham is a place for them to be?
Are you saying that Are you saying we should sell Kane for less money than he's worth?
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying
because
that.
as it stands at the moment, Man City have not put a fucking legit bid in.
You're taking no. I don't think we should sell them a discount at all. But also the fact that you're taking you people who are railing against the interview with Gary Neville are taking like a very small soundbite of Kane mentioning the fact that 100 million. And saying, "Oh, he's trying to lower his price and everything like that." That is something that has been impressed upon the situation by the fan base and not expressed directly by Harry Kane.
My issue with that interview has got fuck all to do with his price tag. It's got more to do with what he did and how it unsettled the squad at a really shitty fucking time of the season.
That interview came out on May 21st. The season ended on the 23rd. We were already going to finish wherever we were going to finish.
No, we were
We had Aston Villa and Leicester left. That's it. 2 games.
And how were those fucking games?
Well, we lost to Villa. The thing is, the interview came after the Aston Villa game. The little teaser, the like 6-minute teaser that they put out, that came out on like the Monday. Levy's statement came out on the Tuesday, and then we played Villa on the Wednesday or something close to that. But generally, the season was pretty much over by the time that video came out. People thinking that there were like 4 or 5 games left. It's not true at all.
Whenever I've mentioned Harry Kane's, how I've got an issue with Harry Kane's actions, I've never, and I will state this, I've never ever mentioned the interview. Ever, be it on Twitter, be it on stream. I've never mentioned it because it's for me. It's just an ammunition. It's a bullet that people can use. Fans are able to use if they choose to. I believe it has no bearing on my opinion on Harry Kane. My opinion of Harry Kane changed the day he didn't turn up for training for my football club. That's the day when I looked at him with less, just a lesser view, because he failed to turn up. If you really, and I think Simon Jordan said it best, if you really want to leave, regardless of gentleman's agreement or previous conversations or be it Daniel Levy, no, not even that, Jace. Come in. Don't go on holiday. Don't go on holiday. Come into Tottenham Hotspur. Come into Hotspur Way. Sit there and say this is it. And I'll still stand by. And I know Cody's going to argue this point but I'm going to be consistent. I still say some form of statement should have come out that Monday when he didn't turn up for training. I still believe that, and I still stand by it, because my
From
word,
who? From
the
Kane?
shit show we've had since then, it could have been anyone. I don't care, Code. Anyone. Anyone, Kane comes, but if Kane was willing to go, and like you say, there's no one who's going to leave. He was never going to leave under a silver cloud. It was always going to be dark clouds. If that was going to be necessary anyway, if that was going to be definitive anyway, then put out a statement. I've reviewed my thingy. I've given it my all. Blah 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 blah, and I am looking to further my career.
Okay.
And I bet you anyway there would have been lesser people who would have judged me. I wouldn't have judged him.
Whoa. This has been sitting up here for a while. So, Stell, how would you handle the Billy 101? Plus, we have a new guest I've never seen for the first time. So, hopefully, it's the Universe Galaxy. How you doing, Mr. Galaxy?
Hey, what's up, man? Don't worry, I'm not a prank caller. You can verify who I am on YouTube. I have a popular page.
Okay, cool.
Man, I've been a prank caller on this channel like 50 times, so don't worry about
for
that.
like 3 months. For like 3 months, he's been a prank caller on this channel. But still,
Well, okay, I thought the way he was before he put me on, I thought he was like worried it was a prank call or something. You know?
yeah, I mean the name was unusual for that, so there was a little bit of consciousness. That's true. But thanks for joining. We're glad you're here. Stell, Wayne asked you a question, my man. How would you handle Billy in the one-on-one?
Just to save.
Go ahead.
Just to save time, I don't mean to interrupt you. Just to save time. Thank you. Just real quick, just so I don't waste anyone's time. Do you take all? I just found your program randomly. Do you take all sports topics, or how does it work?
It's primarily Tottenham Hotspur, but I mean, if it's related closely to that, that's usually how we do. But yeah.
Oh, what was the topic? I missed it. What was that?
Tottenham Hotspur. It's a EPL team, English Premier League.
Okay. I typed in NBA call-in shows, and your program popped up, and I thought it was an NBA also. And then when I was on hold, no, seriously, when I was on hold, I was like, wait a minute, this doesn't seem like NBA.
This is Tottenham Hotspur, not San Antonio Spurs.
San Antonio Spurs.
Yeah, it might have come up because of the Spurs, right? Yeah.
The Universe Galaxy has 34,000
also,
subscribers, so officially this has become an NBA call-in show. What would you like to talk about? Would you like to talk about the Milwaukee Bucks championship or Toronto Raptors?
That's actually, I'll actually give you a good one. Even if you're not a basketball fan, you might actually like this, even if you're not a basketball fan. But just real quick, I think I typed in NBA call-ins. That was part of it, live call-in show or something. And then when I was like, you know what, I'm on hold anyway. If they take my call fast, I'll find out if they take all the sports topics or not. Okay, I got a couple topics for you. You don't have to be a basketball fan. You're gonna enjoy this because I know this topic very well. I have come to the conclusion, based on many research data, interviews, debates with other people, and all that, the worst fans in the NBA are Michael Jordan fans, and they could possibly be the worst fans in all of sports. And of course, the second topic, Michael Jordan is not the number one NBA player of all time.
Whoa.
You got to drop bombs on there on people like that.
Whoa. First of all, who's Michael Jordan?
Why don't you tell us how you really feel?
And what's NBA?
I actually had a third topic. And fourth topic. But I didn't want to, I didn't want you guys to feel like I was giving you too many at once. You know?
Can I just add
Since your
my
program's
bit?
on an NBA show, I didn't want you guys to think that I was giving like too many NBA topics at once. Then
No, it's all right.
All I can add to this conversation is Big Ben Wallace, Chauncey Billups, Tayshaun Prince, Detroit basketball. Let's go, baby. That's it.
Oh my God! You would be a fan of the worst freaking franchise in pro sports, the Detroit Pistons.
Detroit basketball.
Oh my God!
But one of the reasons why, even if you know nothing about basketball, let's say you don't know much about basketball or anything at all, one of the reasons why this is still an interesting topic, just imagine some other topic you didn't know. Like, let's say there was some sport you weren't into, hockey, boxing, wrestling, whatever, just something else. And you found out there were a group of fans that were not only the worst for their sport, but they might be the worst fans in all of sports. To get to that level, you have to have lots of information about them being so ridiculous, and that's what makes this interesting. In that even if you don't know basketball, if I gave you information about these people, you're going to learn that these people are zombies. They're brainwashed. They're just
call them
in
scum.
love with the guy. And there's more examples. You get the point.
Right. So what you're trying to say is that Michael Jordan fans should cheer for Manchester City.
It did a good movie, though. To be fair, it's a good movie.
Was Space Jam? It was Space Jam 1 was better than Space Jam 2. Oh.
I don't think that's controversial. Let's.
How would you handle Ndombele one-on-ones though?
No, I mean it was the LeBron James
What, in a
Michael
basketball
Jordan
match
thing.
or in a football match? Or...
Fucking either way, man. Whatever takes your fancy at this point.
Do you know when he says, "How would you handle Ndombele one-on-one"? Is he talking like on the football
Coaching
pitch?
wise,
Or...
coaching.
Would you throw him under the bus, or would you kick him in the nuts?
How would you try and get the best out of Ndombele? What would you?
I would go back to why we bought him. We bought him because we were on the way up and we had a top manager that played good football. We've lost all of that. So I think in the process, you've lost that. So the only way you get it back is you've got to convince him we're going to get back there. But when you're buying Brian Hill, Galini, no second striker, no left winger, and you're losing to teams in Portugal, it's so fucking hard to get him back on side. And that's the problem I think we're going to have. It's like Harry Kane. How do you get Harry Kane back on side? It's so difficult.
I don't think you do at this point.
I don't think a coach can do this. Whatever happens at Tottenham this year, do not put it on Nuno. This is
I wouldn't.
Yeah. I think the only way you get him back on side is if it has to come from above. I don't think the manager can do it, if I'm going to be really honest. I don't think you can. But that's assuming that Ndombele isn't the issue, though. I'm making that assumption. Because if he's not prepared to get... Saying that, though, his Instagram photos, he looks really lean and fit. He looks fit.
He probably... Well, I don't know. Like, there's got to be a reason Nuno's not playing him. And I don't think it's because Nuno's being funny with him. You know
he doesn't want to be there, Jason. That's why. He doesn't want to be there. Like, if I was Nuno, I wouldn't play him. If you don't want to play for Tottenham, how can I put you on the field of play to fight for Tottenham?
Yeah.
Same with Harry Kane. Harry Kane's not playing because he doesn't want to be there. You look at the way Heung-min Son and Lucas Moura and Højbjerg and Skip are playing for us at the moment. They want to be there.
Yeah.
Bob was saying, wasn't he? Bob was saying the other day, I only want players at the club that want to be at Tottenham.
Yeah, I want players who want to be there rather feel like they have to be there.
Yes.
Ryan, there you go.
What's up, people? How we doing?
We're talking about the San Antonio Spurs, Brian. Who's your favourite player?
Couldn't give a shit and don't have a clue.
Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan's good.
I heard he was good, yeah. I heard he was good. Maybe we should get him in midfield.
Yeah, not bad.
So I'm curious. I want to. We'll let you get on Levy, but I do have some questions for the Universe Galaxy. So I do have some questions. What is your issue with Michael Jordan? Just curious.
Okay, so since you guys are into soccer or football, whichever one, show you examples. So you, since you know more about that sport, imagine there were a group of fans who told you there was a soccer player who was the number one soccer player of all time, the number one college soccer player of all time. He had the number one killer instinct of all time. He was the number one offensive and defensive soccer player of all time. He could beat everyone in soccer one-on-one. He was the number one athlete of the entire 20th century. He had the number one statistics of all time. And I could give you more examples. This is just a few because for practicality, I'll just give you a few. There's more things. If there were a group of fans who thought this thing about any soccer player, anyone, even the best soccer player, whoever the consensus is, you would at some point go, at best, these people are in love with the soccer player. At worst, they are the worst fans in all of soccer, possibly all of sports. That's the logic applied to Michael Jordan fans. And I just gave you a few examples.
Listen to me.
No, hold on. Unless he legitimately was.
In other words,
there is a comparison.
In other words, what I'm saying is
here.
Michael Jordan fans in general think these type of things about Michael Jordan.
This is honestly okay. So we have. I'm assuming that you don't watch soccer that much, but like there is a manager in soccer. His name is Jose Mourinho, and he has a traveling group of fans that just follow him from club to club and basically like adopt the club that he's at, and when he's at that club they're fans of that club, and when he leaves that club they basically like antagonize the club's fan base for not being good enough to this player. They call his name is Jose Mourinho, and they even have like a name for them. They're called Morinistas, and it's like absolute parallel, like they're like running railroad tracks right now. But I have to admit, I've clicked on your YouTube channel and I've now found that you have like a second YouTube channel called Michael Jordan Fans Are the Worst NBA Fans, and I am looking
just
forward to
just you know, that the Universe Galaxy page you found, it's not my main page. I have more than one popular page, but you're right. You found my second page. That's actually really good research. You found it pretty fast. I actually give you credit for that. But the reason I was giving those examples, I only gave you a few because I was trying to get you to understand, since you like soccer, imagine there was any fans in whoever liked any soccer player who thought the number of ridiculous things that Michael Jordan fans think. And what I'm trying to make the point is that no matter how bad those soccer fans are, the ones you mentioned, no matter how bad they are, there's lots of bad fans in lots of sports. So you count the number of stupid things about every fan and find out who has the most stupid things. And when you put it all together, nobody touches Michael Jordan fans. In fact, the example you gave of people following around, I mean, that guy, whoever he is, no disrespect, I don't know who he is, but that guy is not as famous as Michael Jordan. He's not as well known as Michael Jordan, not as well loved as Michael Jordan, and not as popular as Michael Jordan.
In the world, I would say you're wrong.
No, isn't that opinion, though? What you just given out? Isn't that your personal...
No, I think he's got raw data to back this up, if I'm being honest. But this is...
Can I say something?
Remember I told you when I first came on, I got data about this.
This should be breaking the internet right now.
No, it's opinion. I look at LeBron James fans the same way. 100%. I think they're the most annoying fans, bandwagon fans, most annoying fans. They think he's the greatest thing to slice bread. He's lost 6 championships, where Jordan has lost none. And I'm a Knicks fan to prove it. So I'm born to hate Michael Jordan, but I will respect the guy, you know. So Michael Jordan fans are not the worst fans. There's Arsenal fans, LeBron fans, Ronaldo fans, and though I like Messi, even Messi fans can be annoying. So it's like Michael Jordan.
City fans, Liverpool fans, Manchester United fans.
There are so many
fans.
There are so many things wrong with what you. There are so many things wrong with what you just said. I'll try my best to not take up too much time because I know there's a lot of people here. I'll try to go down the list here. First of all, I just listed for you a bunch of stupid things that Michael Jordan fans think. You cannot find any LeBron James fan, any Messier fan, any fan of anybody in any sport who thinks the number of stupid things that I listed, and I didn't even list everything. And secondly, you know how I know you're a Michael Jordan fan? You know how I know you're a Michael Jordan fan? Because I made a video on this, by the way. They have this weird thing against LeBron James. I see it every day. Everything is like a problem. They don't like him. They don't like his fans.
This guy is next level.
And then when they say things like,
Welcome to late night THFC.
when they say things like he won rings and he lost rings, this is a when they say things like this guy never lost and this guy never won and this guy has more rings, this is a team game. And that guy, I don't know his name, but the fact that he brought up LeBron James fan, sorry, and he brought up rings and never losing in the finals and all that, I know right away he's a Michael Jordan fan. And now he's going to tell me he's not a Michael Jordan fan like he did earlier. He said he hates Michael Jordan. He's actually a Michael Jordan fan. Another thing they do is they always want to convince you they're not Michael Jordan fans. They'll tell you, I'm a fan of the Celtics. Oh, I like the Knicks. Oh, I rooted against him. He beat my teams. No. When you pick him number one and you bring up LeBron James fans and you bring up winning a ring and all that, you are no doubt a Michael Jordan fan then.
Man,
okay.
So let me just. This is the best. This is the best. This is the fucking best. And I can prove that I'm not a Michael Jordan fan, and I don't need to go into any kind of detail other than to say that I am a fucking Reggie Miller fan, and that should say enough to the universe galaxy to absolve me of these people that you're talking about. This is the best show we've ever done.
I definitely believe you. By the way, to the guy who was talking about LeBron James fans, again, I don't know his name. Sorry, the guy who said LeBron James fan. Just real quick, everything you said about LeBron James fan, everything you said. Not only can you apply to Michael Jordan fans, it's worse with them. The only thing that you said that was different was when you said he never lost a ring. Yeah, LeBron James lost in the finals. But again, back to my point, you guys act like one guy wins and one guy loses and this guy has more rings and this guy has less. It's a team game. One guy does not win and lose. And you guys are zombies acting like one guy wins, one guy loses,
Galaxy,
one guy has more rings and all that.
Mr. Galaxy, I've got a question for you. You see the chap in the middle.
I don't.
I do. You see the guy in the middle with the black jumper and the grey beard. Is he a Michael Jordan fan?
Well, I don't know too much about him, but he said he likes Reggie Miller. So far I get no clue he's a Michael Jordan.
No, that's the top guy. This guy.
I'm more a fan of Michael Jordan's brother, the good singer, Montel Jordan. I think he's the greater Jordan of the team.
I thought you meant the guy in the middle, but when you said beard, the other guy had a bigger beard, so that's what I don't know too much about him. He hasn't given me much information.
I couldn't give two shits about Michael Jordan, if I'm honest with you, mate. So it's all good.
All right, there's your answer right there.
I heard he had a theme park in his house and he was doing things he shouldn't do with kids.
Oh, that's Michael Jackson. That's Michael Jackson.
Oh, my bad. My bad. I don't know. Listen, is it my fault I don't know about basketball?
Well, it's your show.
You don't have to.
This. Well,
I don't know anything about basketball.
This is X-rated.
Allegedly.
I'm telling you, you don't have
Jason,
to.
Please say allegedly.
I know.
You don't have to about basketball because they're
well, it's your show.
Michael Jordan fans are like cult members.
Allegedly, he had a theme park in his house.
Will and Cody, is your show always like this?
No.
Yes.
This is the greatest show we've ever done already. Absolutely.
Wow, Saturday night.
This is so getting taken down tomorrow by YouTube.
What did I do? What?
I'm literally crying here, dude.
Yeah,
my face is bright red.
All right, allegedly, he had a theme park in his house. Because we can't prove that for sure.
And giraffes and chimpanzees and everything.
Yeah. Right. Michael Jordan fans. Michael Jordan fans of the world.
Listen, actually, Michael Jackson did a music video with Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan. Space Jam. For Space Jam Part 1.
Yeah, he's right.
He did do a music video.
Can I ask the Universe Galaxy? Do you have a Twitter handle that I can
I do have a Twitter handle. I haven't been using it too much. I just kind of started recently, but I do have one. It's It's at terrible NBA fans.
I'm gonna go follow that right
Very
now.
Oh, you've
Very
got balls deep in there.
Actually,
haven't you?
if you don't mind, what actually, just so there's no hard feelings anywhere, I actually welcome people who disagree with me on my podcast. If anybody disagrees with me on anything, we don't just go over NBA topics, we go over all sorts of topics. If anybody disagrees with me on anything, you're welcome to come on my program. If you like, just go to my page, send me an email, and we'll try to, depending on what your topic is and all that, how your personality is and all that, we'll try to set up a time and date for you to go on then.
100% Cody's coming on your show, dude. I've never seen Cody so happy being on a Spurs show.
I've also never seen Cody say no.
But I agree with him. So it has to be disagreement for it to
If
be
anybody on
entertaining.
this live panel, if anybody on this live panel wants to go on, you can plug your page. I'm not a strict person. I'm not a rude person. You can more than feel free to plug your page on my page if you like.
Right.
I would do, but I literally don't follow.
If you want to go on my
any of the
podcast.
sports.
I think you
No,
should.
I literally don't follow any of the sports that you would
No, I
have.
think Jason's a walking libel.
I mean,
case,
he
isn't
like
Well, no, but just so you know, that's why I was saying on my page we don't just go over sports topics. We go over non-sports topics. We go over other topics as well.
Brilliant.
I'm just letting you know, if you disagree with me on anything, you can come on my podcast, go over whatever you disagree on in general, then and you can plug your page there. If you like.
What's your main
Bobspur, he's
page? Because
speaking
the
your
only thing I
language.
see
He's
on
speaking
the
your language.
universe
That's
is
it.
other stuff. What's your main page?
Yeah. So what? For example, when I do live streams, like the way you guys do it, I also use StreamYard, and we go over lots of non-sports topics and sports topics. I don't
What's
keep
it
my
called,
live
though? What's
streams
the
up
show
for
called,
different
dude?
reasons.
What's the page
Okay,
called?
gotcha.
Yeah, so on the well, I have other pages too. I don't want to give too much information because you might give us some personal information, But those are one of my pages right there. And on that Universe Galaxy page, again, we go over non-sports topics as well on the live streams. Then, so again, if anybody here disagrees, you're welcome to come on. In general, most people are welcome to come on. Go over whatever you disagree on. Then, and again, you can feel free to plug your page there if you like.
Can you?
If you want, you can put a link for
in
us.
the chat.
I got it right here.
Into the private chat, yeah, and then I'd
There's
love
a
to
link to his
like
channel. If you
said-
go to the about section, there's information there that you can find him and email him and all that stuff. So
I'm guessing on your live stream, you guys do mostly sports, soccer. You don't go over non-sports topics.
Yeah.
primarily just sports on this channel. I do
Mostly
other
just-
things on other channels,
Just
but not
Tottenham
on this.
Hotspur, honestly.
Okay.
That's
Will you become a
literally all
fan?
we talk about.
Will you become a fan of
Oh.
Tottenham Hotspur? No.
But your own
Say again?
sanity.
Why
No.
would you want to do that to one of our guests?
No.
No,
I
say
mean,
again.
we gotta
go
recruit.
to the first page. We'll recruit them. I mean, that's
They
what
said-
everybody said in the chat.
He said,
I thought
"Are you
you
going to
said you
become
could
a
recruit
Tottenham
them.
Hotspur fan now? For if you're going to support English football, you have to support Tottenham Hotspur.
Yeah,
now.
that's it.
Yeah.
You found your way out.
We don't want him to be an Arsenal fan.
I mean,
Actually, you know what? There's this manager
I
named
mean-
Jose Mourinho that
No, I
I think
res-
you might like.
No, go ahead.
okay.
Sorry.
Go on. Who do you support? Okay, good talk.
Hello.
On soccer, do you support anyone on soccer?
I think he's an
I'm a
orbit.
typical American in the sense I don't really know too much about soccer. Then.
Typical.
Actually, a lot of Americans are soccer fans now. And
Yeah.
it's a
No, I
growing,
know, I
growing
know.
market.
Three of
I'm
us.
saying
One.
typical American. Obviously, soccer is not like the most popular sport in America.
But it's
Top
growing.
row.
Yeah, it is.
It is growing. It is growing.
It seems
get
like a
you one
fun
day.
sport,
It really is. Once you really start to learn about the game, and it becomes you'll become
Oh yeah, no
obsessed
doubt
like
about
we
it.
were.
Yeah, no doubt.
Once you start
Yeah.
supporting Tottenham.
I think it's one of those things where it's just a matter of time. I'm already into time. You spend baseball, basketball, a little bit of wrestling, boxing, and then you have movies, radio, TV programs, and all that. So it's like, how much time do you have, for everything out there, right? So it's probably not enough time to go and get into soccer. But it definitely seems like a great game.
It'll kill
beautiful
everything
game.
else.
It's a beautiful game.
I don't know a sport that's got more passion from a live crowd than football. From every sport I've seen, I don't know anything that's got more passion.
Well, you know what?
On a game day.
Yeah, no, soccer is definitely either number one or near the top in passionate fans. I'm going to throw out some passionate sports fans. You tell me what you think. Do you think WWE fans could be just as passionate or more passionate than soccer fans, or in the whole world of all sports fans.
It's
No,
not
no,
sport,
they're fucking
That's not a
lunatics
sport, though, is it?
because it's
sport.
fake and they follow
They're
it.
entertainment fans, aren't they?
That's
But people are
that's
crazy
like
though.
It's
that's like
WWE,
yeah.
WWE's
that-
on right now, right? SummerSlam's on right now, isn't it?
Yeah, that's
But
why
people
People
Indy
they're
left.
passionate, but that's
So-
not really a sport.
Or
But
just
it's kind
ended
of
a
the,
minute
it's kind of
ago.
the same. It's kind of the same concept, right? Like if there's boxing
Not
fans,
really.
and UFC fighting fans, and karate fans, and all that, why not WWE fans? It's kind of close to being a sport, you know?
No, there's one big difference. You see, they know who's going to win before they start. That's not a sport. That's a
The
state.
Well,
fans don't know. The
technically-
person does, yeah.
Technically,
Yeah,
By the-
but the
by
people
the-
in the ring know.
I'm sorry,
Jason,
Jason. Did you not
we
see
can-
the
we-
Manchester City versus Norwich game today?
But by their own definition, WWE stands for World Wrestling Entertainment. They had to change it from WWF, didn't they? World Wrestling Federation. So by their own admission, they're an entertainment provider or an entertainment show per se. So I know what you're
So is
saying.
Tottenham
And
Hotspur.
yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I know what you're saying. There's a lot of passionate toward. There's a lot of fans who are passionate towards who show a lot of passion towards WWE. But I think this is probably a bit of an unfair comparison with regards to football fans to WWE fans, because I think it's totally different. Well, one's
I'll
not
tell you the
even a
knock
sport.
against soccer fans. I'll tell you the knock. So when you have a stadium with like 100,000 people, it's going to look like it's more passionate because it's bigger
of course.
stadiums. But when
Of course.
if you want to talk about passion comes into play not just by how big the crowd is and singing songs. Passion comes into play in different ways. So when you really go by passion, like just taking everything to consider for passion, honestly, man, I don't know who's number one. There's no way to measure that, but you could make an argument. I'm not saying it's true, but you could make an argument that one of the sports in America, like baseball, basketball, football, or something else, have the most passionate fans in the world. But maybe I'm wrong. I don't know if that's true.
Well, no,
Actually, you know what?
will
I am
say
wrong
this.
because that's an American thing. That's not a worldwide thing. I take it back. It's not a. You know, I take it back. I am wrong. You know why? No, I am wrong because that's an American thing. If you go by the whole world, maybe for the whole world it might be. For the whole world, it might be either soccer, boxing, cricket, or something else.
But this is something
Cricket's
this is
close
something
second. You're right.
I try to tell. No, this is something I try to tell other Americans about soccer, especially those who don't travel. Soccer or football goes. It's political. It's religious. It's countries fight countries, cities fight cities. I mean, you cannot find a sport that has so much history, and there could be love, it could be hate. Like if you go and see the teams, I spent some time in Italy. The clubs in southern Italy, they hate for the teams in northern Italy, and it's political. It's rich against poor. It's social class. It's city life, farm life. Like
Protestant versus Catholic.
Protestant versus like it's
red
it's
versus
hard.
blue.
It's so hard for other sports other than the Olympics, but there's so much history. You know, that team that played they played soccer with the Berlin Wall. You know, Eastern. I saw a documentary. You know, Eastern and Western Germany. I mean, when it comes to soccer, you go to Argentina. The hate between Boca Juniors and River Plate in the same city. There's no other sport in the world than football in regards to rivalry, because it's life or death sometimes. It's even life or death. I mean, it's crazy that it comes to that point.
Marty, do you know how you know football is the most passionate sport? Name another competitive sport where you've got home advantage, but you've got to give a percentage of your stadium to travelling fans.
Yeah, I can.
There's no travelling fans that get dedicated seating.
But there's something else you might want to consider.
Yeah.
Oh, I think there's a delay. So I think there's a delay. But there's something else you may want to consider. Let's say you're in a country. I'm not talking about you guys, but let's say you're in a country where there's not too many worldwide famous sports, and then soccer is the most famous. So is that something you want to consider because they're into soccer because there's not too many other options? And then the second thing you want to consider is when they're passionate about soccer, is it the soccer they're passionate about, or are they just passionate about their country beating another country then?
I think with regards to passion, I think cricket's a massive passion in the UK, absolutely massive. And rugby is another national sport, as well as our boxers as well. British boxers are doing absolutely fantastic. But there's no comparison with regard. It will be silly of any of us to say, cricket is on par with football. Football's the number one most passionate and the number one sport within the UK. But it's not country v country as well. It is territory. It's territory based. It is a club based.
Right. I'll give you a great example myself. I'm not really here. I am. I'm not really into soccer. Right. I don't really know much about it. I understand the sport, like how it's played and all that. And then let's say America is going to go up against some country like China, or I don't know. I'm just making up an example, like Iran. Right. At that point, I might care just because I want America to beat those countries. You know what I mean? So is that really passionate for the sport, or is that just I want America?
Yeah,
to win
see in football though.
No, you just like a good old war.
Yeah. In football, though, we would tend to call those types of fans. In football, we would tend to call those fans plastic, though.
Yeah.
Right.
So we didn't consider them a real fan.
Yeah.
Bandwagon.
Yeah. Not even such as bandwagon. It's more that it's not. It's like you're not a dedicated fan. For instance, I have this channel. It's a small channel, but I watch every single Tottenham Hotspur match, week in, week out, home and away, because I can't go there, but I'm an American, right? The majority of fans in England would look at me and say, oh, because you're not a season ticket holder, you're not a real fan. You're a paper fan. You're a plastic fan. And I do 6 shows a week on this club. Well, I've been that way for the last 4 years at least. Yeah.
So here's something else you might consider. Let's say every country in the world was winning in whatever sport. Just pick a sport, doesn't matter, any sport. Yeah. Which sport would most countries care? Remember, not one country, not a few countries, not a certain region, all that. Which sport would more countries cared about if their country won in that sport then?
Oh, definitely
Soccer.
The World Cup. Yeah.
World Cup, football,
100%.
soccer.
100%.
Like which one would they be the most passionate about, the most interest, most cheerful,
World Cup.
most happy, most excited?
It'd be football. Purely and simply. Look at it even on the continent. South America, biggest sport is football. Asia, biggest sport is arguably, and Eugene's come on at the right time, is football up there. Obviously, within Europe, football is number one. So I think as worldwide,
including the United States.
Eastern European football's up there. So the World Cup, i.e. football, would be the number one sport that the whole world would care about.
Most televised. It's the most watched televised event in the world.
Yeah.
And we always call it football and never call it soccer. Sorry to say that.
Right, but see, guys, remember when people put when they put.
I had to get on. I had to come on this channel because I just woke up, right? And I switch on your show, Will, right? And all you guys are talking about basketball. I was going, what the F?
Michael Jackson.
We have a new guy that came on and wanted.
And R. Kelly.
Don't talk about Michael
Jordan.
Jackson.
And then Michael Jackson came in.
All the great pedophiles of the world, really.
Now I want to talk about badminton, all right?
Allegedly.
Now I want to talk about badminton, okay, guys?
No, it's cricket. Who doesn't want a sport that takes 7 days? It's awesome.
Sorry.
Do you play darts in Malaysia?
Oh, yeah, we do in the pubs.
Really? That's brilliant. Fucking brilliant.
Yeah. Come on, Malaysia is a reflection of Britain. We ex-colonies. You understand? We play the games that you played. You know, we go to pubs like you.
Pubs, snooker.
Yeah, we got all the same things, more or less.
Scrabble, Monopoly.
Monopoly.
Tiddlywinks, what a game.
Do you have darts in America?
Oh, yeah.
Play darts in America,
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I was in the military, dude. What do you think military people do when they're stationed?
Kill people.
Overseas.
Wank.
No, we throw darts. We go drink beer and throw darts.
Nice to catch you. I had to come on, right? Oh dear.
So
you were going to say something. Universe was going to say something before Eugene interrupted about Like,
Oh, sorry,
he didn't feel like the World Cup necessarily would be the most watched.
Yeah, I honestly, I'm trying to think hypothetically. I'm trying to think if every country were winning in every sport. Just take any sport in every country. I think in parts of the world they would go crazy for soccer. I don't dispute that. I don't think the same passion and be the same for every sport in every country. And if they do care, they would just care because, like, yeah, our country won, just because they want their country to win in any sport. And soccer is obviously very famous and prestige and loved and all that, so they would care. So, for example, I'll give you an example: America. And let's say America won the World Cup. I think most Americans would be like, yeah, we're going for America, and they would care enough, especially if it's against a country that they're not really too into, and they would be very proud of it. But I don't think the passion would be there compared to some other sports. That's just America, but you could apply that logic to lots of other countries,
Yeah,
well,
like,
really
I mean,
couldn't. You can only really apply that logic to America.
I could be wrong.
Man,
America.
Can I have a
Every other
question?
country in the world gives a
Would
fuck.
flip out.
Yeah. No, they will flip. Like, literally, there'll be riots. There'll be people in tears.
There'd be like national days of holiday if your country.
If Malaysia won the World Cup, it'll be a 1 month holiday, public holiday.
Literally, I think you're underestimating. Like, seriously, if United States ever
the
win
U.S.
the World
wouldn't care.
Cup, even if we got to the final, like, literally, it'll be the biggest thing to slice bread.
For people who support who like football, but for the average American, they could care less. To be honest with you, which is sad.
Yeah.
Which is sad.
But any other country in the world, they'd absolutely fucking go nuts.
Riots. There'd be riots in the streets.
I mean, I get your point of view, but that's very insular because you are American.
I think.
No, you didn't get my example though. Remember, you're going by what's happening now. Imagine Australia. You have to think hypothetically. Imagine Australia had a basketball team. Basketball is very famous worldwide, for example. And imagine Australia won in basketball against the NBA players. Or imagine let's say India had boxing is kind of popular in India. Let's say India had a heavyweight champion boxer over there. I think there are certain sports they would be more passionate about and care more about and be more into and all that.
But see,
I'm not having it.
No. Let's be real.
He's right, though. He's right.
But that's so hypothetical and so wide open.
Exactly.
It's a non-point and a non-discussion.
No.
None of it's real.
It's a fact but then the argument would go for anything. If we were the best at basketball, of
course you would.
If there was same hypothetical question with fishing, it'd be the same thing. So I think. Yeah, you're right. Hypothetically, if a certain country,
fishing is just killing animals.
I like fishing. That's my job.
Let me tell you this story. When Greece won or Cyprus won gold medals in the Olympics, people celebrated, people partied. When the Greeks beat America in the basketball in the Olympics, they went crazy because basketball's massive in Greece as well. Yeah. But when Greece won Euro 2004, I've never seen anything like that. Yeah. The Australian Greeks, the English Greeks, the American Greeks, New York, in Greek, they went fucking crazy.
Remember I was saying it depends.
Grandparents, kids.
Yeah, remember
uncles,
I was saying it depends
people
on the
that
country.
even watch football came out.
It depends on the
mental.
I don't say soccer.
I don't know why, but I'm just letting you know what happened. I can't explain why.
Yeah, sorry.
I don't know what it is about
I think
football.
there's a delay. Sorry.
Yeah, there's a delay. Yeah, give it a second.
I'm not hearing it, but one of you two guys might be. But
I just think in football, because of the spectacle.
Yeah, it's the only thing. It's one of the things I hate about it. It happens on my live stream too. Oh, go ahead. Yeah, sorry. Again, the delay. Yeah.
I think because football, the fans in the stadium make the game what it is, and the emotion that comes with that, and the singing and the dancing and the chanting in the stands, people get so drawn into it. You actually feel that you're part of it, and that I don't think can be replicated by another sport. I know cricket does that, but
I think basketball is close. So, like, I'm looking here at the most popular sports in the world, 2021 power ranking.
Oh yeah, no, I definitely disagree with that last part. Even though you kind of agreed with me, I definitely disagree with that last part. It can't be replicated. The passion for certain sports in lots of countries is there, just as good as soccer. It just depends on the country, the sport, who they're playing, and all that. The reason I gave my hypothetical was because if you just go by what is, you have to consider lots of other factors. Does the country have other sports? Do they have the resources? Do they have, lots of young people who want to play? They have the money to go buy the equipment and all that. So we have to think of a hypothetical. What if all things were the same? You have to make things equal. So you have every sport in every country.
But they're not for a reason,
the love is there and all that.
But they're not for a reason, dude.
Right,
You could never answer that.
All right.
You're right. They're not there. You're right. That gets to my point. When do we consider that maybe one of the reasons they're so into certain sports is because A, they don't have too many other popular sports there. B, maybe they just want their country to beat some other country. C, maybe there's some country that their country is playing against that they don't like too much. And I'm sure there's more examples, but you get the point.
Well, Universal, my point is this. Like, for example, I played also high school football. I played soccer. I also played football, and football is passionate.
Mari, hold on. I gotta hold you. Bob, say goodbye.
Yeah, see you later, guys. And nice to meet you, Mr. Galaxy.
Catch up with you later, Bob. Have a good sleep.
Good morning.
Half 5 in the morning.
It's been emotional, gentlemen.
Pleasure to meet you. I'll still be listening. It's just I've got to shoot. So pleasure. Stel, piss off.
Later, man.
Brady, piss off. Mari, piss off. But
Michael Jordan fan, but the worst NBA fan.
Sorry,
don't get a piss off, Bob.
And big up Montel Jordan. The better.
Montel Jordan. We forgot about that.
Even drop that. Brilliant.
I've got to shoot as well, so it's been emotional, gentlemen. Take it easy and come on, you Spurs.
Jace, good to see you again, bro.
Yeah. You too, mate. You too.
All right, later, man.
I will say this, because yes, in the States we're passionate about college football, NFL football. I'm passionate about those sports, but the difference is when it comes to football, global football or soccer, it's just that it's played in so many countries that once a country wins a World Cup, and there's no other competition that when you win it, you can brag to all of the world because most of the world plays that sport. Like if me as an American, I'm like, well, we're good at American football. The people in Germany or South America or Africa, they don't really care because they can't play. The only sport I could think of maybe comes close to that, maybe is basketball. But like I said,
I could tell you.
Or maybe baseball. I know Far East they play baseball. They play baseball in Latin America, but there's not a sport like soccer where every country can qualify for the World Cup. Literally, every country can qualify.
Let me show you a follow up to this. I'll show you a great example. So I know when I gave this hypothetical, it's a big hypothetical. I don't want you guys to think I don't get it. Trust me, I get it. It's a big hypothetical, but it's not 100% of a big hypothetical. You know why? There are countries out there that have multiple sports, poor and not poor, kind of in the middle, whatever, poor in the middle, rich, whatever, and they have sports that are multiple sports that they're into, and soccer isn't number one then. And America is a great example of this. Soccer was here before America. Soccer was played by many people, including people in Mexico and neighboring nations. Other sports came into play, and other sports became more popular. And this happened in Canada. Hockey became more popular. This happened, you could make a point in Russia. I know it snows there. There's a lot of cold, so there's differences. I get it. But if we're going to throw in other factors, like snow and cold weather, then throw in other factors for why other countries like soccer then. Look at India. India has soccer, and they love cricket a lot, too. Australia, I think, likes also, rugby? And I think even the
Rugby,
UK.
Australian
UK
soccer,
loves
Australian
boxing.
football.
Australian football. Guys,
Yeah.
can I have a question?
So soccer's popular, no doubt about it, but I just don't think soccer is as popular as people think. It's popular in numbers, yes, but the passion is there for different reasons. But honestly, I'm painting a broad brush. It just depends on. It's a big world, right? It depends on what country and what person and.
Have you ever left America?
I don't know, year.
Have
guys,
you ever
many
stepped out
times,
of America?
Can I have a question? Can I have a question?
Yes, I am. Many times.
Okay. Not to offend anyone, right? Especially in America. If America does win the World Cup in football, right? Will you guys stop calling it soccer?
No, I mean, okay, so Eugene, all soccer is a slang British. It's a British slang word for football.
I know.
It's England's fault. They're the ones that did it in the first place.
I understand. It's just a question.
Whenever people talk about Americans saying the wrong word, you could always point to when people outside of America say the wrong word.
I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying,
the soccer football thing didn't really start until like I want to say it's like the 70s or 80s or something like that.
Yeah, I know.
Before that, it was called.
How did that happen? How did that happen? Why was it called soccer?
Why was it called soccer? Yeah, that's why. What happened there?
Yeah. So okay. So
the story is we had the other football sport. Is that what it is?
Yeah. So what? No. The story is that so American football came out of rugby, right? And rugby was called. You had association football, and what was rugby football called? Maybe it's just rugby football.
Rugby union.
Yeah, and rugby football. Rugby union came later, but so you had association football and you had rugby football. So association football and rugby football both came to the United States. Both were actually popular. Actually, the United States' best showing in the World Cup was in like 1932, or no, not. I don't think it's 1952 or something, 51 or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so it was after that, and actually, British or association football or soccer. So you had soccer and ruggers were slang terms for association. So they shortened association football and it came soccer. And you had rugby football and it was shortened to ruggers. And both of those things kind of stuck. Well, in America, when rugby football kind of morphed into American football, the name just kind of stuck. Football. And even though now, rugby football doesn't even call itself football anymore. It's just rugby.
Yeah, but it doesn't make sense because American football, you use your hands. Whereas football, you kick the ball with your feet. Hence football.
No, could it be a branding thing?
No, rugby football was called rugby football back in the day.
More in the modern ages, right? Could it be a branding thing that they didn't want to associate? They wanted a different name for football in America because they didn't want to clash with American football, and people get mistaken between the two footballs.
What are you talking about?
No, football. When you play in America, when you call it football, do you call it American football, or
no,
you
it's
just
called
call it
football?
No.
Yeah.
No,
yeah. So
no,
that means maybe during the branding stages when it started in the early stages in the 70s.
No, it's not a branding stage. I'm telling you why. It was.
No, I mean they chose the word instead of using football.
No, you're not listening to me. I'm telling you why it happened, right? So,
yes,
soccer was the British slang term for association football. Long time ago, right? When it came over to the United States, the term soccer stuck for that sport, right? And then you had rugby football, which changed into American football, right? And it just continued to call football because they already had soccer. So the two just kind of grew up. One was called soccer, one was called football.
Okay. So it's a cultural thing, though.
No, I mean it's a British word. I mean even the Australians call it soccer. They don't call it football.
The Americans basically, Eugene, already called
Is that right? I didn't know
soccer,
that.
and because American
Australians
football
call
came
it soccer?
after soccer,
Yep.
they couldn't call it soccer.
wow.
They called it football to separate the two.
But Will says it goes back all the way because it was already called soccer. It's a British.
Yeah, the British. That's correct. Soccer is a British word. It's a slang word. He's right.
It's a slang word for football.
I mean that's why they still have shows Soccer Sunday on BBC. I mean that's
correct.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks.
Yeah, soccer just for everyone knows.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
All right, I think there's delay again. Go ahead. Go ahead. It's fine, guys.
No, so the US, it's the Brits called it soccer back in the day. That was the slang for it. And it was after a 70s, there was some kind of rivalry between the two when they stopped calling it soccer. And once it started to become popular in America, they stopped calling it soccer and started calling it football.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, what was the league called
grumpy
before
people in the
MLS?
chat room who every once in a while there's been some grumpy people in the chat room who are who are writing things like, move on, okay, we entertain Mr. Galaxy, okay, he doesn't get it and all that. Just so you guys know, I totally get the appeal of soccer. It's outdoors, you get good exercise, it takes skill, stamina, I don't know, physical play and all that. It's not that I never liked soccer. There were some games over the years that I actually got into. I've played a whole soccer game like on TV from start to finish. There was a Women's World Cup game. There was a local city that I'm from that I was into. There was a country playing another country, and things like that. So it's like I never got into it at all. I played some video games that had soccer. It's not that I've never gotten into it, but in general, I like many Americans, I never got into it. But I don't want you guys to think I don't get the appeal. I know it's worldwide famous. People are passionate. They, sadly, they do horrible things because they love, like murder, rape, torture, maybe. I don't know. Well, maybe not rape. I don't know. Maybe that happened too. Anyway, soccer fans are very violent, some of them, I get it. And I totally get why people love soccer. I get it. But obviously, I'm not supporting the murder, rape, torture, or anything violent.
Galaxy.
Well, guys,
Galaxy.
Okay, Murray. Yeah.
I gotta go,
Take care.
guys.
Take care, Murray.
Boys. All right.
See you later, Murray.
See you later, Murray.
Galaxy. I don't think
later, man.
you really. I don't think you really understand why people love soccer. And I'll tell you what it is, right?
After everything I said, you still think I don't get it, or you think I don't get it? Wow.
No, you don't. I'll tell you why. Tell you why. Well, you can tell me if I'm right. When
I can tell you right away. I already know you're wrong, man. But go ahead.
No, because I know as a child you didn't do what I did. That's why I know you didn't that you can't love soccer. Not the way I did. When you're growing up as a kid, I never
said I love soccer.
Hear me out.
I never said I love soccer.
I know. I'm going to explain to you why people love soccer. Why it's so popular. When you're growing up as a kid,
that's what I'm saying.
Country,
I get it. Sorry, I think we delay again. I know people love soccer, man. I totally get it. I'm not even questioning that.
No, I don't think you know why.
All right.
Because you said, yeah, when you're growing up in a country that plays soccer, what happens is, from a very young age, you kick a ball. But maybe you don't have a ball, and you see a Coke can, you kick the Coke can. When I was a kid, I've played a football match with 20 other kids without any equipment, where we're just kicking a Coke can, because that's all we had, and we did it in the street. That's how most Brazilian kids that become superstars start off in the fellas, just kicking like a rock or a stone. The thing with football is what makes it such a loved sport. From a very young age, you don't need any equipment. You just need some friends and something to kick. And it begins. And the love begins from that. And I don't think you can do that with any other sport. Basketball, you need a ball that bounces. Golf, you need a stick to hit a ball with. Tennis, you need a racket. Every sport, you need equipment. Football, you don't. You can just
I'm pretty sure you need a soccer ball that bounces.
No, because you didn't hear what I just said. Then, like I said, when I was a kid growing up, if we didn't have a soccer ball, we'd kick whatever we'd find. In Brazil, in the poorer countries like Brazil, Argentina, in the poor areas, they'll just like kick anything they'll just play and
tie up plastic bags or newspapers.
I totally get them. In America, man, in America they used to play all the time, kick the can. Kids do the same thing where they get some rock or something and they play it. They may not do it as much anymore, but it's a common thing that happens in lots of places. Like
Correct.
You said, you don't need like a lot of equipment. You just play the sport. I think you're wrong in your assessment that I don't get it. I totally get why people love soccer, man. I explained in detail how I know people, why I totally get that people love soccer. I don't know, even the couple people in the chat room, they seem to think that I don't get it. I don't know if you guys are listening. I get why people like soccer. I told you, I probably just won't get into it because it's a time issue. Like, how much time are you going to spend on so many sports and entertainment things?
It's because as a kid, you never experienced that. That's the point I'm trying to make. You didn't experience that as a child.
I don't think you know what I did when I was a kid, man. But go ahead.
Did you kick a can around with your friends and play soccer?
I also didn't box when I was a kid, but I like boxing too, man.
Yeah, but you got into a fight at school, right?
No, I mean, if I did, not out of choice. Like, I wasn't doing it because I wanted to beat Apollo Creed or anything like that. You know?
Okay, that's
I like
that's
lots
the
of
point
sports.
That's the point I'm making. I think, look, this is just an opinion. I could be completely wrong. I just think that behavioural habits as a child kind of then leads on to kind of what sports you like. Because most people that like sport, they've experienced some form of doing the sport whether it's legal or illegal, as a child or in
All
your
right,
teenage years.
then by your logic, the most popular sport in the world should be wrestling. Wrestling, you don't need any equipment; you just need human beings.
No, because most kids around the world, they just have a group of friends and they start kicking something. It's just
Right. I'm
but that's-
saying with wrestling, you don't need a goal. You don't need a rock. You don't need a goalpost. You don't need multiple people.
But
You
I
can just
never
have two
wrestled
humans
as a
who are
kid. I
able-bodied.
never wrestled as a kid.
Right.
I've never wrestled as a kid.
But I'm saying by your logic, if you know how you're making the point, you don't need this, you don't need that, which you're right. You're absolutely right on that. But keep going. You don't need the rock. You don't need the goalpost. You don't need grass or whatever. You just need at least two human beings who just want to wrestle with each other. Wrestling should be the most popular sport in the world. And you know what? It maybe is. There's lots of places that love wrestling.
You got WWE.
There you go.
Listen, you make a fair point, but I think culturally, the natural thing is kids see other kids kicking something. Oh, I'll do that, and then they end up trying to copy. So I think there's a global cultural behavior of the sport.
I agree.
Which has made it.
I agree with you. I agree with you. The culture of soccer is much more popular throughout the world than, let's say, baseball or let's say basketball. Maybe even basketball, maybe. But it's, basketball's not that far away. Football and all that.
And you know what else?
Somebody in the chat room wrote, "Try wrestling on concrete." Okay, well, I have one for you. Try playing soccer on ice.
Yeah, but most countries don't have ice.
No, I know. I'm just addressing the guy in the chat room.
No, it's totally cool.
There's some weirdos in the chat room who are just coming at me a little bit. Then
you can play soccer on grass, on concrete.
But it is in subscriber mode, so thank you for some of these names I haven't seen before in the chat, so I can't speak for everyone. But it is in subscriber mode, so thank you for having us having those individuals subscribe to the channel if they hadn't already. I appreciate that. But unfortunately, this is the 3-hour mark, and this is as long as we can do the show. So I am gonna have to call it a night. The Universe's Galaxy, regardless of whether there are folks in the chat that didn't appreciate it. That's fine. I had a good time. I'm glad you're here.
Thank you, man. I did too, man. I like the way you. By the way, I want to give you credit. I go on a lot of shows. They don't all run the show the way you do. So you're very nice, respectful, kind, and pleasant. You give people time. You don't make them wait on hold a long time. You're pretty fair, and you're not rude or a jerk or anything negative. Then, so thank you.
Yeah, Galaxy's cool, man. You're cool, dude.
Yeah, Galaxy. Yeah,
cool, dude.
More or less. That's why I came onto the show. Yeah.
You too.
No, but thanks for coming on.
For the both of you, you're all nice too. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, you're all
I
nice
appreciate it. And guys, we will be back tomorrow night after the match to hopefully have a good show after we beat the Wolves.
What match is it? SummerSlam?
No,
I'm playing. I'm just kidding.
Not SummerSlam.
SummerSlam. I'm just joking. I'm just.
But yeah, folks at home, I'm gonna put you guys in the back room right now while I do this, and we'll see you after I do my outro. And folks at home, thank you very much for watching tonight. Like I said, we will be back tomorrow night at around 10 p.m. Eastern time to discuss Wolves v Tottenham Hotspur. My score prediction going to be 2-0 with the brace from Sun. And folks, thank you very much for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe, and maybe consider joining a membership or a Patreon if you don't mind that. And if you want to get something for helping out, supporting the channel, you can hit up THFCRants.com and pick yourself up some sweet merch. All those links are in the chat. And we will see you guys next time. Stay strong, stay Spurs, and remember, we love you.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Let's go now.